football. Wow. Wind that down. Bow, 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 bow. Rick Rosen in the chair. Reppin' Boom Fantasy. It's the Check Down Plus Boom Fantasy #1 fantasy football pregame show in the land. Internet, real life, cable, network, Hulu, Roku. We are out here taking all your questions and talking all sorts of fantasy shenanigans until 1 p.m. kickoff. I'm going to admit, I'm tired. I'm tired because last night I had a sports experience that I don't think I'll ever forget. I stayed up late to watch Conor McGregor fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I'm so glad I did. Because I watched Fight History. I watched a spectacle. I'm not 100% sure I watched a UFC fight. You know, before the fight, I had to deal with some people in my messages like, man, there's some, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some script WWE stuff going on. I don't think it is, but if there was ever a time, that would have been it. Quote of the night from Dana White on potential consequences to Team Khabib. Quote, "The governor was here tonight. The governor went running out of the building. That's not good. Governor running out of the building isn't good. He's in trouble." I agree. Khabib's about to be in big, big trouble. And I would be very, very worried if I were him. Warren Sharp, the GOAT, posted on Twitter, Khabib will fight another bear in Russia before he fights in the United States again. Big yikes. Big O yikes-o. But that's what happens. Let's back it up. Let's back it up and talk about what happened last night. Because before that, here's the biggest problem. Before that, it was one of the best UFC cards I've ever seen. Before that, it was one of the best complete nights of fights the UFC has had in its history. That's the most disappointing thing. My phone's on. So, we had Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, big country boy. Alexander Volkov, a Russian. Another Russian matchup. Volkov pounding Lewis. Pounding him. Lewis is wobble. Lewis is getting his conditioning worked. And then in the last seconds of the fight, Derek Lewis comes over the top with this most vicious of haymakers. Most vicious. Knockout in the final seconds. And then proceeded to give one of the greatest post-fight interviews in the history of sports. He took his pants off. Joe Rogan said, "Why your pants off?" Derek Lewis said, "Shit, my balls is hot." Yeah, man. If that's not how you start it, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But Derek Lewis also continued to finish. He said that President Trump called him before the fight, told him to knock this Russian out, make it look good for the news. Good Lord. Then Joe Rogan asked him about a title shot. Derek Lewis said, "Do you see me, man? I got to get my conditioning up. I can't be getting gassed going one round." Just actively turning down title shots on the pay-per-view. Then as the interview wraps up, Derek Lewis says, "Hey, maybe in a couple weeks, Joe, I'll come on your podcast and smoke some weed." Talk about checking every box for Derek Lewis. Could you have a more phenomenal 2 minutes in camera after having a very entertaining 10 minutes in front of camera? My God. After the fight, hours later, on Fox Sports, on cable television, they asked Derek Lewis how he's going to go home and celebrate. He said he was going to put his wife's legs up in the air, see what happens. Some people are just born great, man. Some people just have greatness within them. Some people are just ready to embrace that challenge. Absolutely absurd. Derek Lewis was one of the first fights that, and then Tony Ferguson came up. Tony Ferguson against Anthony Pettis. Ferguson was a huge favorite, and in the second round, he got knocked on his ass so hard we thought the fight was over. Absolutely outrageous. And then he came up and kept working. Anthony Pettis ended up breaking his hand. TKO finish. Another just monster ending. And then we can get into McGregor. We can get into McGregor if you want. I mean, it wasn't anything we haven't already seen. That's the biggest disappointment. We watched McGregor get out wrestled again. And taken down on the ground again. And act like he can stand up fight everybody. Which is probably one of the worst things he could think. Made a bill off that Florida pick. What Florida pick did I make? I on Good Morning Boom gave the wrong Florida pick. So tell me about the Florida pick. Because the Florida pick 6, I had LSU and Florida team total under, and that pick 6 flipped the result. So what'd you get? I'll fight people. I've never been in a fight in my life that didn't last more than like a second. Like, whoa. But I got concussed up pretty good in pit drills when I was a kid. I took my fair share of hits playing linebacker. Oh, he did exact opposite. There you go, Scott. Fade it. Then that was a huge play for you. Then you were sitting there going, we need a big play. And then you got a pick 6, and then you got your big play. So, good God, that's awesome. That is so funny. I did the opposite. Well, you know what? That was profitable. I was 2 weeks clean heading into that. I was 3-0-1 heading into this weekend's picks on Good Morning Boom, our Instagram TV show. Oh, lasted more than 2 seconds. Very good. Hey, man, I could go a full round. One round sex. I had a pretty good tweet last night. Boom had a pretty good night of tweets. We're going to go check them out in just a little bit. Because your boy was hot. Your boy was lit. Your boy was hot. I'm looking for documents. I got the slate. So yeah, I was 3-0-1 heading into picks this weekend. I had Florida team total under, which honestly was setting up perfect. LSU was driving, ready to kick the winning field goal as things expired, and then they threw a pick 6, which won Scott's bet, which is always fantastic. And then it cost me my bet, but that's okay because I'm here for you guys. So like, obviously that working out for you is beneficial to me. I'm way up. I'm having a great week. Crushing units. College wasn't so great. The fight, I put money on Conor because I was going to be sad if Conor lost anyway. So I don't know. That probably means you should bet the opposite way, but I just wanted money on Conor, but I didn't put too much on it. Put most of my money on Michelle Waterson, Tony Ferguson, and will they touch gloves? Easiest money I'll ever make. That's true. That was one of the easiest bets I've ever made in my life. Will they touch gloves? It closed at minus 400. So I was only able to get it for $25. But cashed easy. Came home easy. Even though Herb Dean tried to fuck me. Herb Dean said, hey, touch gloves if you want. He said, touch gloves if you want. I was like, don't say that, Herb! Herb Dean almost stopped that fight like 2 minutes before it actually happened. Because Conor McGregor was on the ground getting his face punched in violently. Sorry, I'm trying to get the week 1 slate visible for you guys so we can talk a little Boom fantasy. But I also seem to have done a thing. Can we look at some tweets even though? Because I had some bangers. Oh, let's check this poll though. Should Khabib be penalized? I thought this was very interesting. Over 300 votes and 40% of the people say he should lose his title. Was Khabib's manager actually in 9/11? Even if he was, you don't say that. This isn't where you say that. It doesn't matter. So good. One of my best tweets ever. It doesn't matter what Khabib's did. And then there's this. And then there's Cormier. Let me get Cormier's thing was like, you got to understand that there's culture and this was bigger than the bot. Like, the whole reason you fight is to settle it in the octagon. Like, I know Conor did this and Conor got arrested for this, but God, if this isn't not where you're supposed to settle it, then what is the point? Just murder each other in the street. This is supposed to be where the fighting is regulated. And Khabib just shits on all that. Shame on Vegas security too. Because every fighter is acting like they should have saw this coming, and Brendan Schaub said it on Joe Rogan's podcast. He's like, I'm not going. Shit's gonna go down. Totally understand. Why wouldn't you double security? Like, I don't understand why, if it was, yo, Pilo Dilo, what's cracking? We're talking about UFC, baby. I don't understand. If it was clearly something that was gonna happen, why are we in a place where I'm supposed to act surprised that it actually happened? I don't fully understand that. You know what I mean? So here's our schedule. We usually open talking about Thursday Night Football, but UFC was just so lucrative that we got to get to it. So we talked about that, but I'll talk about Colts Pats. The Colts couldn't field an active roster. Then we have a 3-team parlay locked. The 6-teamer missed, the 5-teamer missed, the 4-teamer missed. We're winning it all back today, baby. Tres equipos clock. Pilo Dilo, Khabib choked out Conor McGregor and then jumped out of the octagon and fought one of McGregor's trainers, Dylan Dennis. But wait, while that was happening, somebody from Khabib's camp jumped into the octagon and two-pieced Conor in the back of the head. It was absolute mania. I'm not going to show any clips on stream because that's how you get penalties. And we learned that the hard way. However, I highly suggest you go on Twitter, you go on Reddit, you check it out, especially you Pilo Dilo who are telling me you haven't seen it. It is absolutely bonkers. You could hear Joe Rogan being like, no. It was, dude, Pilo Dilo, it was basically Malice in the Palace at UFC. It was the most insane shit you've ever seen. Conor McGregor got hit by like 2 people after tapping out. It was stupid. They didn't put the belt on Khabib. They had security escort him out. So there were 3 guys that police detained from Khabib's camp. Arrested 3 guys, and then McGregor said he didn't want to press charges, so they let all 3 guys go. So McGregor doing, I guess, ultimately the right thing. Oh, Pilo Dilo, jump on it, jump on Twitter. Honestly, I don't usually give him credit, but it was just so crazy. Barstool has a lot of good videos of it because it's such a Barstool thing. Like, it's just like the most insane, reckless shit. So, family show. But that is it made it hard to come on and talk about football because it was literally a historic night of sports. And it made for yesterday. Yeah, no, he already brought up visas. Warren Sharp said Khabib's going to wrestle a bear in Russia before he fights in the USA again. Khabib's in big, big trouble. And Dana White said it best. He said, Khabib doesn't have to worry about me. He's got to worry about the Nevada State Gaming Commission. Mark, I don't know if you saw, we opened the show with a quote that Dana White was like, the governor was here and the governor ran for the exits. That's never good when the governor runs for the exits. So Khabib's in big time trouble, and we gotta figure out how to move past that. But Tony Ferguson looked good as fuck. Conor McGregor looked whiz-oshed, and Khabib looked like a monster. But he'll never fight in the U.S. again, I don't think. After Malice in the Palace stuff, you think he was in the locker room like Ron Artest? Like, we think we're gonna get in trouble? because that was one of the best postscripts to any story ever. Fantastic. Oh, I forgot there's baseball today too. Oh, ja. So yeah, yesterday you had first the day started with soccer, which I never bring up on the show, but Newcastle, Manchester United, amid all the shit happening, family show at Manchester United with their manager like going bananas and on the verge of getting fired. They go down 2-0 in 10 minutes to Newcastle at home, and then they end up roaring back and scoring. So Conor going to WWE, I mean, he could make a lot of money, but I don't think he will. I think he's just going to sell whiskey. What's the line against that bear? Oh, yeah, I would definitely take Khabib minus 180 against the bear, and I'd probably take him plus 135 to make the bear tap. Can you the visuals of a bear paw, like it's a visually pleasing joke for sure. Oh man, I haven't recovered. Oh, Jeffrey, no, like that is so good to be like a bear. He's got the bear. Tap, bear, you must tap. I will break your bear neck. And then someone from Khabib's camp jumps over the octagon and two pieces the bear in the back of the head because the bear threw a dolly through Khabib's bus. Wait, what? Oh, Jeff, sorry. Yeah. So, Jeff, I bet the draw. Think about how I feel. I bet the draw. Manchester United scores in the 90th minute to win 3-2. Then the Red River shootout. Oklahoma, Texas. Texas is, I'm literally talking to a friend yesterday. I say, wow, Texas is at 98% chance of victory, according to ESPN, which, by the way, is like the most useless thing in the history of useless things. Percent chance to victory. Even though it was 5 minutes left in the game, Texas snap scores, gives up 14 points and still comes back to win on a late field goal. But no defense from Oklahoma, and that's usually how they phase out as a title contender. Sorry, checking the tweets. So you get great college football, then you get great baseball. Yankees doing work. How about those Yankees? David Price, playoff David Price. Playoff Kershaw didn't show up. Playoff David Price, right on time. So yesterday, and then ending with UFC. Just an absolute amazing day of sports, carrying it into a phenomenal Week 5 slate. We've got rivalries. We've got lopsided matchups. We've got interesting matchups. We've got championship rematches, right? We're going to talk about the Boom Week 1 contest. We're going to talk about pass rush because it is really swinging games. I had my buddy Rob show me any Big 12. Yeah, dude, the Big 12 defenses, unbelievable. But Kansas defense looked pretty good, stuffing up West Virginia a little bit. Pass rush is becoming so important. If we're going to, like last week we came on here and we talked about how the league is morphing and it's a passing league. If that's going to happen, pass rush is going to become the penultimate, the next most important thing. That's not how you use that word. Becoming the second most important thing in football. So we're going to look at who's getting hits, who's not generating the passer, and it's not going to surprise you because they're some of the worst teams in football. Then we're doing check down power rankings. They are not food related. That's a tease. That's one of the best. My beat the shitty Knowles. My Canes beat the shitty Knowles. Pilo Dilo, your Canes were a 2-touchdown favorite that beat the shitty Knowles by 1 point. Also, dude, rough story with Amon Richards. I'm sorry, Pilo Dilo. As someone that grew up loving the Canes, Amon Richards was an NFL receiver, and he just got word yesterday that he has a neck injury and his football career is over. I don't normally do sad things on the check down. I wish I had a sad version of Chuck's theme song that was like, bow, bow, no, bow, 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 like really like moody. But yeah, that is such a bummer with Amon Richards, man. He was electric, and the Canes were always better with him on the field, but always injured, and this is the latest one that's just really sucks, man. It sucks when someone gets injured for a career-ending injury when they're in college, man, because they work so hard. You work so hard in high school to get a scholarship at Miami. You don't sacrifice yourself to D1A football unless you want to be great and go to the next level, and now he'll never know that. So check down power rankings. Yeah, bring it back. Then we're looking at gambling angles. I haven't looked at props. For the first time in check down history, all my bets have been made pre-show. Yes, like the Fox injury song. Nailed it, dude. 100%. We need a Chuck check down version of the Fox injury song. That is an absolute slam dunk. Nailed the reference. But yeah, I'm on Richards. That sucks. Gambling angles. I have a few props I'm looking at. Valdez prop. How do we feel about that? Devontae Adams is gonna play, but Cobb and Allison 99% won't. Valdez-Scantling. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. It doesn't fit on one line. It's a two-line word. Then I got a lot of injury stuff. We could do the injury stuff quick. I like getting that up in the forefront because that involves a lot of lineup questions. But do the injury roundup because a lot of guys were declared out early, and now I'm hearing Leonard Fournette might already be ruled out for next week. So Leonard Fournette, once a league winner, now could be costing people their season right at the midpoint. Long-term hamstring injury. Big man, big muscle, big problem. We got a ton of injuries to go through, though. And then the second week, we're going to do hot and ready. What is hot and ready? You get a pizza. You get a Little Caesars pizza. You get a hot and ready for $5. Wow, what a deal. Is it any good? I said it's hot and it's ready, right? These are players that are less than 5% owned that I guarantee are available in your leagues if you need a spot start and has a chance to produce. Last week's hot and ready, I believe 3 of them scored touchdowns. Oh, fuck. Family show. So don't miss that segment. All right? But make sure you check out the Boombox. Do you guys know what the Boombox is? You're watching on the Boom Fantasy app. It means you can be playing games with Boom Fantasy anytime you step out of this show. The early slate is locked. We've got a great edge. We talked about it in our strategy video earlier this week. And I want to reward you for watching the show and getting down with me on live streams on Boom Fantasy. So deposit into your Boom account. Take a screenshot, send it to me, rick@boomfantasy.com. I'll enter you to win the Boombox. I have spent way too much money at Pristine Auctions, and I'm going to hook up your man cave, your dorm room, your apartment, whatever you want to put this signed jersey, I'm going to make it pop. I swear you do not want to miss these drawings. I'm going to start pulling later in the season. I need to finish off the swag. We're going to get that bobblehead, but I need more deposits from you. You want this signed merch. I got Hall of Famers. I got Madden cover athletes. I got quarterbacks, running backs. We are all over this shit. Way too much money. Please don't fire me, but I'm giving away these signed jerseys, and you want to be a part of it. So make sure you get down with the Boombox, take a deposit into your Boom account, and send me that screenshot so I can enter you in to win. Bingo bango. Scantling did not get a Marquez Valdez-Scantling signed jersey. But how dare you not hyphenate his name first? You know it's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And at the same time, also, no. Should have listened for Mitchell last week. 43 on my bench. Wowza. It's funny because I was talking to my buddy putting up DFS lineups, and it's crazy because it's like one person can instantly, if you started Mitchell Trubisky, you're looking at extra zeros in your life. Like it was just that simple. And I was listening to the Swolecast with Roto Grinders. It's Evan Silva and a bunch of other smart people. And they were like, all right, Evan Silva's the number one name I trust in fantasy. Like, all right, Silva, who's our quarterback this week? And he's like, Mitchell Trubisky. And everyone's like, what? And he's like, you heard me. Elite matchup. And they're like, might as well throw Taylor Gabriel in there. And he's like, do it. Look at that. Combined 8 touchdowns. How about it? For a combined 6K on your DFS site of choice. This is the week 1 contest to my right, your left at Boom Fantasy today. This is the early slate. If you get all 8 of these questions right that are rotating in this slideshow, you will end the day $1 million richer. But Rick, nobody ever wins on these sites. Last Sunday, we gave away $18,000. On Monday night, a winner turned $1 into, Sunday night, B-Haas turned $2 into $18,000. That part's important. Monday, we had another user turn $1 into over $300, okay? And then on Thursday Night Football, we had a user turn 99 cents, 5 questions, $700. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it's too hard. I just want to hear that your guesses weren't good enough and you're going to try again next week. Because this shit is winnable, family show. So come on. Most receiving yards, that's an easy one. This is an Antonio Brown blow-up spot. Look at those other 3 guys. Brown's going to put up numbers beyond what they can even comprehend. Brown's basement is all their ceilings, okay? Not Odell's ceiling, but this year, Odell's ceiling. That question's a layup. And if you don't get all 8 questions, you still end up cashing the contest. So, Juno, I'm looking for weather. I'm looking for weather posts. See if the weather's okay. So, in addition to the Khabib Conor melee, then you had violence in the streets of Vegas, like extended violence in the streets of Vegas. It's unbelievable. So if you have a chance to get on social meds at some point today, boy howdy do I highly recommend it. Because it was an absolute scene. One of those days in sports. Just one of those days, man. Crazy. And let's get into it today. Let's do some injury stuff. First half hour, I haven't talked a second of football. The biggest one's Leonard Fournette, obviously. He's declared out earlier in the week. And Dalvin Cook, too, to a lesser extent. But Dalvin Cook, we kind of was pitch count, writing on the wall. Fournette left early. He's been down. Spivak, we're about to put the Raiders there. Okay, so there's 2 leagues I play in. In one league, I have the Vikings D, and the other, I have the Jags D. Should I start them? The Cowboys D and the Broncos D are on the waiver wire. That's a really tough position. So I will tell you, full disclosure, in my emergency situations for streaming defenses this week, I have been starting the Arizona Cardinals defense. I think that their pass rush is underrated. And the Niners offensive line is bad. They got Jimmy G killed. They got CJ Beathard knocked out last week. He came back in the game only to still lose. But I have no problem with the Cardinals D. Chandler Jones is playing aces up right now. The Vikings D should not be in any fantasy lineup. I should have made that clear at the forefront. The Vikings D should not be in any fantasy lineup right now. Don't go there. They have no rush. They're good against the run. This is a passing scoring league. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And as far as the Jags D, I mean, you're going against Mahomes, man. You're going against better Mahomes and Gardens. You're going against post Mahomes. You're going against Sherlock Mahomes. You're going against rolling with Mahomes. So that's really rough. Bengals D is a little bit better. For some reason, I thought that said Jets. Pilo Dilo. Did that say Jets the first time? No, it didn't. I really thought it said Jets the first time I read it. I thought it said Cowboys and Jets. Bengals are not a horrible play. I'm worried that they gave up huge offensive games through the air to Atlanta and Baltimore. I don't expect too much from Miami, but Miami has been doing well, taking creative shots down the field. So even when they aren't getting a lot of plays out, they're still getting offensive production. So I should bench Breda? No, because Breda has PPR upside. Breda's the number 1 receiver on that team right now, with Beathard as a check down. I'm telling you, my bailout defense, that's not like a shutdown defense that we have to bench guys against. I'm just off the Niners offense right now. I was not high on them going into the season. I have some shares of Garcon, but no shares of Breda. He's just going way too high after the McKinnon stuff. And I just can't it's not that severe of a matchup where Breda has to sit, for sure. Breda's one of the more productive rushers right now, especially in PPR. So this is our injury watch. Yeah, Leonard Fournette already could be ruled out week 6 against the thoughts on Alex Collins today and moving forward. Alex Collins has seriously worried me. That's another guy I was really high on. I have him in a couple of leagues and is starting to stress me out. 2 fumbles inside the 10. Like, what more could I say to cause concern for any coach anywhere? The optics are horrible. He is clearly the better runner when Collins and Allen touch the ball on back-to-back plays. Collins looks like the better running back, but his production hasn't been so much better that it warrants he has to play over the guy that hasn't fumbled inside the 10. And that's why I benched Alex Collins for Derrick Henry this week, which was something I was already prepared to do, but the more I thought about it, Derrick Henry's in a if not now, when situation for me, as good as the Bills' run defense can be at times. Melvin Gordon had a nice game against them. Second conundrum, choose thoughts on Alex Collins. So moving forward, I could deal, but running backs are so hard to come by, and the Ravens are so good that there's no point in bailing on Alex Collins. Because even if he gets doghoused, if he comes back late season, they are still, dude, the Ravens have allowed 6 plays inside the 5-yard line. Like, that's it. Like, think about that. Like, that is so much. That is so little. That is so much good defense. And they're getting a D lineman back, and they're getting corner Jimmy Smith back today. They're improving. They're at the Browns, where they haven't lost since 2013. They're part of the 3-team parlay. Spoilers! So based on their defensive value alone, I have a hard time shipping Alex Collins, because I believe that if he's at his best, he is a major fantasy weapon. So for season long, I just can't, you know? When will Miami actually start giving the ball to Drake? Dude, that's probably more frustrating than Alex Collins. We talked about it on the Thursday stream. Kenyon Drake is around 30th in touches. He is number 1 in the NFL in yards after first contact through 4 weeks of the football season. So with Kenyon Drake, we're just living in this world where he's good, grossly underutilized, and Frank Gore keeps chugging along. And honestly, if the Dolphins win against the Patriots, nobody gives a shit. Or Adam Gase doesn't care about your problems, because he's going to be 4-0 with a win over the Patriots. So right now he's 3-1, and his offense looks like it didn't have any pop. But for me, it's obvious Kenyon Drake is the future. But if Frank Gore's producing, why not go with a split? I think the problem is there's just so much security in Frank Gore. Like, his basement's high. He's just always been who he is. He's a Hall of Famer. So it's frustrating. It's like really hard to believe that Frank Gore is like getting a steady workload for the Dolphins right now. Like, it's really weird. It's not normal. So on that note, it's just a wait and see. But if you need something, I would ship, because I'm not getting it. He's unstartable, even in good matchups. 8 touches. That would have been a good matchup last week against the Bengals. Frank Gore's on his way to Canton, applauding 3.5 yards at a time. Yes, but if this were a demolition derby, he would be a German tank. Like, Frank Gore's been getting into car crashes for 15 years. Through your adolescence, Frank Gore has been getting into weekly car crashes. Like, multiple weekly car crashes. There's just no more durable back in this era of expendable backs. He is just a major statistical outlier, and you have to respect it. I can't even make fun of his consistent production. Why would I do that? Is Frank Gore explosive anymore? No. Has he been doing it longer than anybody? Yes. So he's earned my respect. Blue or Yeldon? I would go Yeldon, especially in PPR. We got to wait on Lamar Miller. He's probably going to be out. And Alfred Blue gets a good matchup then. A good matchup, because there's no Foreman. It's only Alfred Blue. But the Texans don't dedicate much to pounding the rock. They have a horrible offensive line. And Yeldon's going to have that PPR day if he can stay healthy. He's going to have a nice day catching the ball and moving the football on the outside against the Swiss Chiefs. That's what we're calling them, the Swiss Chiefs. They're red, and they have holes in them. Switzerland and Swiss cheese. That was so bad. Frank Gore is Jamie Moyer. You shut your mouth right now. He's Jamie Moyer with a sub 3 ERA. Like, you have to acknowledge that. Like, if Jamie Moyer had a sub 3 ERA for 15 years, like, you have to give Frank Gore more credit than that. Like, you're giving Frank Gore LeGarrette Blount numbers right now. LeGarrette Blount's getting like 1.8 yards a carry for the Lions right now. He's had some good years, right? Jamie Moyer had years where he was an important member of his staff, just like LeGarrette Blount, but overall he's replacement level. That's fine. Frank Gore has been doing it. Frank Gore has been doing it. All right, let's get back to some questions. Choose an RB. Ingram, Breida, Mixon, flex, remaining RB, or Mike Williams. Mike Williams is a really intriguing asset. With Travis Benjamin out, it's the Williams and Keenan Allen. I like Keenan Allen have a good day. The Raiders just gave up 40 points to the Browns. All right, I do love Melvin Gordon today. Yeah, Pilladulo, I got you. Sorry. Mixon's got to be a go. I do think Ingram should be a go. I would say if it's PPR, that's a tough one, man. Because Mike Williams has that big matchup, and Matt Breida's got a tough matchup too, but he's going to catch more passes than Williams. And Ingram, if you believe what Edelman jumped right back into the workload and was productive, then Ingram's going to be that guy too. And I think it's going to be a nice time to give Kamara a break and just flex Ingram's muscles. But you know Ingram has such a fraught relationship with Sean Payton. You know what I mean? Ingram and Sean Payton are never perfect. What's going on, Shreddy? Thanks for popping in. Let me catch up on a question here. I'm going to go with Breida, Mixon. And honestly, the upside is Williams. Like, long touchdown upside. Williams is number one in air yards on the team. If you guys don't know what air yards is, that is just the stat for how far the ball travels in the air to a receiver, right? So if a receiver is leading the team in air yards, the most attempted yards are going to that player, if that makes sense. So Mixon, Breida, and let's go Mike Williams for the upside. We'll leave Ingram in the cold, and we'll learn it next week like a Sean Payton doghouse week. Hill or Sanders standard? So Tyreek Hill's always a risk. Always a risk. I think that they're going to keep him in check. The Jaguars don't give up big passing plays. They're very athletic. They're very physical. That's a matchup problem. And I just don't think that it's going to be a good day for Tyreek Hill. I think it's a good underneath day, good day for Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Chris Conley. But ultimately, when Jalen Ramsey wants to shut you down, you know, imagine Tyreek Hill gets in and Jalen Ramsey get into it and they fight in the first quarter. Sanders is in the slot where the Jets have been torched. They got gassed by Keelan Cole last week, or Dede Westbrook. Whoever was in the slot, it's a 50-50. Sorry, guys. Cramming for a 15-game week. You know what I mean? So I like Sanders. I've been liking Sanders week in, week out. I do think the Jets have a good defense, but it's just a positional matchup where Sanders lines up and where they want to get him the ball, I think is fine. Case Keenum, worst passer rating in the pocket. That's probably not a good stat, right? In the pocket, worst passer rating, which is just like a crazy thing to me. So Davante Adams is questionable today, and get the mouse out of here. But I'm still going to play him because he's been productive against some of the best corners in football. He had like 80 yards in a tote against Xavier Rhodes. He's typically matchup proof, and the Packers are so devoid of weapons. I think Adams is just going to flex up and play. Jay in the chat, Peterson, Ajayi, or Hyde, choose two. I'm off Ajayi this week. There's one thing the Vikings can do is stop the run. They have not allowed a rushing touchdown this year. Coincidentally, they've also not scored a rushing touchdown, which I think is hilarious. But the Vikings run defense is the one thing they do well, and Ajayi's not the passing back. So Hyde's got the workload, Peterson's got the workload and the matchup. It's a dark situation for you, sure. Those matchups on those three players really don't favor you this week. If you were trying to get out of that, if you don't like what I'm saying, you could make the argument Ajayi over Peterson, but I think Hyde's workload is so significant at this point that he just simply can't be benched. He's the all-purpose, all-down running back. Nick Chubb, 3 carries. He broke them last week, but I just think it's coincidental, and Hugh Jackson is just fickle in that nature. So Hyde's workload mandates him in the lineup each week, even though those matchups are really tough. So Ramsey doesn't cover return specialists. You're right, Mark. But the Jags don't really give up big plays, so it's tough. I do think that the Chiefs will try to scheme something up, obviously, for Tyreek Hill, but the Jags have enough pass rush to contain and have enough coverage to slow down that if Mahomes were ever going to have problems, it would be against this defense because they're good on all fronts. Shred time, Keelan Cole, Funchess, Marvin Jones, standard, pick 2. Marvin Jones has a really good matchup, but he is banged up. So we're going to wait and see on that one, if that's okay. If that's not okay, if you got to put him in now, I would go with Cole and Marvin Jones. Devin Funchess has had a couple of good weeks strung together, but I don't like this matchup against Janoris Jenkins, who just did a really good job of shadowing Michael Thomas. And the Giants have been horrible against option-type quarterbacks. So now they get Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey. Like, imagine if I was like, the Giants really struggle with option quarterbacks who can run and throw, and shifty running backs who are threats in the passing game. Panthers -6. Such a bad matchup. Such an aggressively bad matchup. I have Cam. I like. Yeah, no. Oh, Jeff, the Saints have the number 1 run defense. The Saints have the actual number 1 rush defense in the league. It is a decent matchup for Peterson, just because of volume. But if the Redskins are going to pass to the back, it's going to be Chris Thompson. So it's a much better matchup for Chris Thompson than it is for Adrian Peterson. I don't think that changes anything, Shred, because I would play Cam standalone in DFS today. I think it's a great Cam rushing day. That's just how I feel about that matchup. That's where the Giants struggle. That's where the matchup is. And then on defense, the Giants, it's fucking Mike Shula family show. The Panthers know exactly how to stop that offense. It's so stupid. Doug Baldwin or Quincy Enunwa. I'm pretty big on Baldwin this week, especially in DFS where he's really cheap. I know that's not where your question is. Enunwa's going to have a nice workload, but Chris Harris is out there, and Terrell Pryor's banged up, so there's one less guy that Enunwa could avoid Harris. But Doug Baldwin is the number 1 receiver, and the Seahawks are going to have to throw to stay competitive in this game today. And Marcus Peters, some banging up action in the Rams secondary, and Kirk Cousins was able to score against that Rams defense. The Rams defense has been getting a lot of pressure, but they're not infallible. They struggle against big play wide receivers, and they haven't been great against the run, to be honest. So Doug Baldwin's a very solid play this week. I'm excited for Doug Baldwin to come back, honestly. Sorry? Promotion. Bortles, man. Could be a Bortles day, too. Where are we at? Oh, Lamar Miller, another guy that could be down. Again, we talked about Alfred Blue. Pick it up. Deontay Foreman could come back after the bye, and probably will. So that's another situation to monitor. Will Fuller is just another one. If you have Will Fuller and you're worried about it, you got to go pick up Kiki Kuti. I'm pretty sure that's how to say it. And the best part about that is if Fuller's declared out, you can just swap him out. Hey, what's going on, Memester? Giants money line is a lock. We know, man. Panthers -6, all over it. We're all over it. It's too late. It's too late to apologize. So the Falcons have been getting beat up for defensive injuries, and this week they're losing Grady Jarrett. The Falcons are giving up a whole other yard per play when Grady Jarrett is not on the field. Run, pass, he's a difference maker. He's a space eater in the middle of the field. They are at Pittsburgh today in a game Pittsburgh absolutely needs. That game could easily go into 60 points. Crazy game in that today. It could be fire. But you gotta, if you're Mike Tomlin, I don't think you can afford to lose that game personally. They're in trouble, man. The same thing for the Dolphins. The Dolphins have lost William Hayes. Last week, I got in an argument with my friend that came on the show talking about Dolphins 20, Pat 17. I said they weren't going to put any heat on Tom Brady. They just lost 2 linemen, William Hayes and Andre Branch in the middle. Well, guess what? Cam Wake isn't going to play today against this Bengals offensive line that's improved and is one of the reasons they're 3-1. So now the Bengals get to just go against this piecemeal Dolphins defensive line that won't be able to generate any pressure. So it doesn't matter what's happening in the secondary. Andy Dalton should be able to pick Miami apart. That's part of the parlay. Marvin Jones is something we're worried about. We're keeping an eye on. Injury in practice. Totally forgot. I have Alshon now. So Alshon, Cole, Funchess, Jones. I don't think Alshon's ready. I think we're just going to wait and see on Alshon. I do think that game is very interesting in terms of scoring. But if you like Alshon, I recommend you go gut Alshon. Big play potential, obviously. I'm just not there. I need to see it first. I've never been an Alshon guy. And but if Marvin Jones is hurt, we got to keep an eye on Marvin Jones' status. I would say if Jones is out, because the Lions have a great matchup against the Packers secondary should be on this list. They're really banged up, and they had to sign Bashaud Breeland off the street just to make sure they have a competent a functional NFL secondary. Their rookie Jair Alexander has been getting absolutely boat raced, so they are in a bad matchup. So we have to watch for Marvin Jones' status. But I do think if Jones is out, which is like 50-50 because he's questionable, I would probably rather go Cole and Alshon. Cole's in there, and I would go Alshon over Funchess. IMO. Some people will be otherwise. The Bengals are out Gio Bernard and Tyler Eifert, and that really sucks. I feel bad for him. AJ Green's a little banged up, but he's fine. I would still play him. It's a great matchup. And that's our injury report. There's stuff that's developing. We're going to keep an eye out, especially on this late stuff. I mean, we've already established Marvin Jones is like our number one name. Is this Calvin Ridley for real? Well, it's funny when red zone, the field shrinks and you have to create opportunity for yourself. And if your best player is now a distraction, so it's twofold. It's Julio becoming a distraction and Matt Ryan becoming a laser-seeking missile. But Calvin Ridley, no problem, dude. Calvin Ridley never jumped off the board athletically. He is an older college player with good hands. He was never a phenom in college. He was a very good receiver on an absolutely incredible offense, right? Made the most of his opportunities, bless him. But now he's in an offense where he is not even remotely the focus. You have to rush the passer, but you also have to put some bodies on Julio. You have to high-low. So Calvin Ridley's getting open, and he's willing to go over the middle of the field, and that's valuable. I can't imagine sitting Calvin Ridley after the last 2 weeks he's had. DFS, a little bit different, right? I'd probably have trouble picking him over some different matchups. But if he's on your team, especially if you're in a league where touchdowns matter, we got to keep going that. Over under 58 in Pittsburgh. I mean, leaning over, but I'm not gonna take it. I don't know why. Something about it. This is the same. So this is my conundrum because I think I put like a half a unit on it, or I was putting 3 units on things I really like, and I think I might have put only 1 unit on it, like a baby unit. Cincinnati was hot when it went to Atlanta last week, and they both showed the ability to get torched, and they both showed the ability to move the ball at will, right? Now, so Cincinnati, Atlanta, I felt the over was very lockish. With Pittsburgh, first of all, it's a full 5 points higher than this. Like Cincinnati Atlanta opened at like 47 and steamed all the way up to 53.5. This is something that opened around 54 and probably, because now we're looking at 58, and that just is so collegiate. 58 is a frick ton of NFL points, yo. And I just haven't seen the Pittsburgh offense look as dominant as they should. That's my biggest concern. I know the Atlanta defense is bad, but I could see both teams trying to slow this game down. And for the pace, that's a horrible total. It could easily, dude, easily be 35-31. Like, easily, this game could flirt with the total at half. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt this game could be 21-10 at the end of the first quarter. I swear. But for some reason, it just smells to me. I don't know. Would I 10-point tease it down to 48? Coming in! But at 58, I'm not 100% sure it's what I need to be doing. Devontae Freeman will be part of a 3-back committee this week. Isn't that what everybody wants to hear? Love it. Love it. So that's a total that I'm iffy on. It just smells. I'm just wary of it. So that's where I am. We'll talk more about our bets in the second hour, along with our power rankings, along with we could talk sacks. But I want to show you one of these guys that's in the Boombox, because you got to get down with this Boombox. You deposit into your Boom Fantasy account, you send me the screenshot, and that's how you get set up, hooked TFU for watching these streams. My man, I have his signed jersey. It's already confirmed. It's already on its way to my house, in which case I will package it with Boom apparel and send it to the winner. He won a Depoy, 4-time All-Pro. He won a Super Bowl, and he's inducted in the Hall of Fame within the last 5 years. So if you do the math, if you get savvy with Google, you'll be able to find out exactly who that is, and you'll know. Yo, you got their signed jersey in the Boombox? I'll be like, hell yeah. I took the Boom credit card and I Forrest Gumped it. You have to get into your Boom account, deposit in your Boom account, take a screenshot, send it to me to enter rick@boomfantasy.com. We have more than 5 giveaways going. So if you don't win the first time, you'll still be entered to win, but you have to enter to get down. So simple. So easy. So fresh and so clean. Yeah, that Marvin Jones thing is probably going to be our biggest storyline heading into today. You know what? I have another Josh Rosen segment planned. I totally forgot about it. Because we can look at Game Pass if you want. Josh Rosen totally did some things, okay? Bang. We got a deposit confirmation. That's one. Boom. Right off the bat. Just one. Is it Ray Lewis? It's not Ray Lewis. But it is also someone who's had legal troubles. Whoa. I think if it was a recent Hall of Famer, I would have first of all, Ray Lewis, all that stuff's going up. He just went in the Hall. All that stuff's way too expensive. But it is someone who also had legal troubles. Bang. So check that out. I'm pretty excited about that 3-team parlay. I need to ship harder on it. I need more confidence. I also have a feeling like the Titans are gonna disappoint today, and I want to bet on them anyway. They're at Buffalo after looking their best for the season. You beat the Super Bowl champions, then you go to Buffalo. If that doesn't make you overconfident, nothing in the NFL will. You know? You have to instill poise into your team to come back on the road and beat the Eagles in overtime with a touchdown and then go to Buffalo and try to win that game. The pressure should be there. The pass rush should be there. The defense is good. It's getting much better. But as we head into the second hour here, I am nervous. That's right when they come and bite you. That's right when these teams come and bite you. When they're at an all-time confidence high. I know because I had the Eagles last week. Parlay Busters. Chill. Gotta have chill moments. Also setting up to go on Twitter Live as we talk about line play. I love that everybody goes live. Everybody goes live on Sundays, acting like everyone wants to see them. Man, no one wants to see you. They want to see me. What are you thinking? Ain't nobody wants to see you. Ain't nobody want to see you. Ain't nobody here to see you, see you, see you, see you. Setting up the tripod. Flip it a little bit. This is the Check Down on Boom Fantasy app, streaming live on Twitter and in the Boom Fantasy app. What up? What up? What up? And I want to talk about offensive line play, but first I want to remind you that this is a Check Down. Oh, what's going on? We have some people in the YouTube. Hey, baby. Nick Valencia, Rodgers with Allison and Webb out, or Dalton? I think Dalton's in a much, much better position than Aaron Rodgers today. Not that Aaron Rodgers isn't the kid, and it's really tough taking him out of your lineup, but Andy Dalton has been dealing. He's got a top 10 matchup and has been a top 10 quarterback, so it should probably kill you. I have no problem putting Aaron Rodgers in your lineup. Nobody's saying take Aaron Rodgers out of your lineup. If you feel like you need upside, maybe go Andy Dalton, but I'm not going to be the guy. I'm not going to be the guy that takes Aaron Rodgers out of my lineup for Andy Dalton. I understand fantasy football is about matchups. Aaron Rodgers is a weak winner, and he cannot come out of your lineup unless he is injured or he is not playing. That is just how fantasy football works. That's why you draft Aaron Rodgers when you do. Adams is a little hurt but playing. I understand that. Adams has been bodying up some of the best corners in the game early on of the season, so I have no problem with that matchup. I'm going to start Adams in a standard league today. Tanner coming into the chat, Notre Flames. I didn't take Notre Dame. You didn't give me your recommendation. I usually go off exactly what Tanner, the Notre Dame fan, says when it comes to Notre Dame. What's going on, gang? Thanks for popping me off on Twitter Live. We are live in the Boom Fantasy app. Link to download in bio. I'll answer any questions you got on here and in the app and on the YouTubes, because I am super out here. It's Rick Rosen at the Rick Rosen, your favorite fantasy analyst. Dropping science. What's going on, big guy? Off of Xbox, my brother in Overwatch Warfare. What's up, man? Chris Carson or Kenny Stills, 0.5 PPR. Man, Chris Carson in that three-headed rotation is really tough. However, I do think if the Rams have any weakness, any news on Allison playing or not, Allison didn't even practice yesterday, has been out all week. I am going to I'm going to stay away from Geronimo Allison this week. I've already fired up Scantling. Marquez Valdez Scantling. That's a 6-syllable name. That's how you know it's good. In my in DFS eligible circles, Chris Carson is the one thing the Rams have a little bit of struggle with, and that's working running backs through the middle as well as off tackle on the outside. Chris Carson could have a decent game, but he is going to have to share with Mike Davis and watch Rashad Penny return kicks and maybe take 4 carries. What is Rashad Penny right now, to be honest, you know? What's going on, Kyle? We are watching Twitter Live. We're also on the Boom Fantasy app, which I happen to notice you haven't downloaded. But if you get down with it, I got a couple free entries for you. Just DM me your username. I will hook you TF up. Boom chats a little bit. Pop in Alex Smith or Andy Dalton from Pilo Dilo. Mark Spivak says 9-3 Titans win in Buffalo. Kyle, I don't know how you feel about that, but that is a very provocative answer. Sherman Jones on YouTube, Tyler Boyd or Adrian Peterson flex. This is setting up to be a very nice Tyler Boyd week. Peterson going up against that number 1 run defense. I'd rather have Chris Thompson, but Tyler Boyd set up for a great matchup. Is Vance McDonald worth chalking? I'm ambitious about the Cardinals defense. I wanted to talk about it later in the show, but Josh Rosen's ability to sustain the Cardinals drives is going to have a massive impact on the Cardinals' ability to hang tight late in games, because getting pressure has not been their problem. The problem is you can't get pressure consistently if the other team is going to call 80 plays, because you just don't have the stamina to rush the passer for 80 plays. So if the Cardinals are going to go from 30 plays to 55 plays a game, the defense is going to be so much fresher, it's going to have so much more life, and it's going to be able to make a real impact on games. Did you say Vance McDonald or Kittle? I actually might have read that wrong. That's hilarious. I hope you enjoyed the Kittle breakdown and the subsequent Cardinals defense Josh Rosen breakdown, but I do believe McDonald's worth a decent play too. The 50-50 snap share split with Jesse James is concerning, but given the expected point total and the way the Falcons defense has been playing, if you have a Steeler today, you roster a Steeler today. That's just the way that's going to work. Amari Cooper or Marvin Jones, asks Sherman in the chat. I'm on Amari Cooper, especially given Marvin Jones' injury status. That is the number 1 wait and see of Fantasy Sunday Week 5 at this point in moment. We are working on Marvin Jones and Geronimo Allison. Luckily, it's the same game, but Jones is out, Golladay can pop in, and Marquez Valdez Scantling. Which one of the 3 wide receiver would you roster more this week from Atlanta? Well, obviously you're rostering Julio Jones if you could roster one. The Steelers get slot corner Mike Hilton back, which doesn't make the biggest difference, but I think, so for me, if you're playing DFS, I would be fine with going Julio. The biggest issue is Sanu. Sanu's not going to have a 100-yard week every week like he did last week. It's actually a huge outlier in terms of his average performance. The problem for me is if I'm in a standard season-long league, how could I take Calvin Ridley out? There's no rationale for taking Calvin Ridley out of your lineup because the man's producing. So you can't have a multiple touchdown guy like that and move him to your bench in a plus matchup, regardless of if it's on the road or not against a good pass rush. The attention to Julio Jones is always going to be there. The only thing that would talk me off of Calvin Ridley in a season long is something happening to Julio Jones, because the attention given to Julio is what's allowing. You see what I'm doing? Calvin to get free. It's defense can't cover everybody, especially in the red zone where Julio is being used more and more as a distraction. Alex Smith or Andy Dalton's an outstanding question. I think this is a huge get-right week for Alex Smith, but I am trepidatious about going into the Dome. However, I do think Washington's going to be able to have to chase that game a little bit. Let's try Enunwa, Tevin Coleman, full-point PPR. That's an interesting question. There's going to be a 3-headed attack for Atlanta, but Tevin Coleman's going to be fine. Breida, think about rostering him in a couple. Decent spot for Breida as a PPR option, so more on DK than FanDuel. You get the full point PPR. Tevin Coleman, nice pick. Little down on Enunwa, but do think the Jets have to move the ball, and Enunwa was their best option. So, God, it's a tough call between Coleman and Enunwa because I think Coleman is much more likely to score a touchdown. So if that logic helps you, I'll push you in that direction. What's going on? We are in the Boom Fantasy app. We are live out here and on Twitter. Ask any questions. It's your boy at the Rick Rosen repping Boom DFS. Get in here. We got early slate, late slate, single game contests across the board. We're answering questions on multiple media fronts. That's just how we do it. It's your favorite fantasy analyst. But I wanted to get into some stuff about offensive line play. Any suggestions on D this week? Yeah, you got to go with the Titans. The Titans have the best upside. They get a ton of quarterback hits, and they're going against the team that gives up the most quarterback hits. So for me, that's a nice matchup. That's as good as we'll get. It's not an easy week for defenses. I will give you that. No Bears, right? It also hasn't been super easy for defenses in general, but no Bears. Jaguars are playing Kansas City. The Vikings and Eagles are playing each other, and both have really regressed. So it's definitely a tough week for defenses, and based on that, why not just go with the best matchup? Especially if you're playing DFS, you got a lot of cheap options today, like Valdez-Scantling and Aaron Jones and TJ Yeldon and you know what I mean? Like there's just so much cheapies that you can pay up at something, and quarterback too. There's a lot of cheaper options. What am I doing? I'm trying to find my pass blocking. My pass rushing segment. If you're unfamiliar with how we do things on the check down, we are going to do power rankings at 11:30. I got a really good one this week, and it'll allow us to do some legal YouTube searching, hopefully, and find some fun stuff. So we call this segment Don't Pass Up or Rush Through this segment. Very easy. So pass rush, if we're going to talk about how this league is becoming a passing league, we have to talk about how pass rush is the only way to stop it, and how teams with the inability to rush the passer are going to consistently lose football games. And I saw it last week in a game that I thought was a super duper lock, and that was Eagles-Titans. The Eagles' inability to get a fourth quarter pass rush was absolutely their downfall. Fading Ty Montgomery for Aaron Jones is a must this week. I believe so. Must is a word that you used, but I believe Aaron Jones is by far the best running back on that team. He's getting better in pass protection. Ty Montgomery might catch a few more passes, but I think Aaron Jones is ultimately the leader of that group, and going against the Lions is a very good matchup. If the Packers are smart, they will get Aaron Jones involved a lot today, especially considering their current wide receiver deficiency. But you throw the word must around. You threw that word around. I didn't throw that word around. You threw the word must around. Sorry, we're Googling. We're Googling. There's so many YouTubes with my name on them. It's wild offensive. Apparently, we got bad weather in Jags Chiefs. Don't really mind it. It pops up a little bit of Ty Hill's value, because I think if you have a game with what was that? Everson Griffin not expected to return. Oh, anytime soon. I thought it said this season. I was like, hot damn. Hot damn. Everson Griffin's too important to the Vikings. Pop out Sha. So the pass rush goes right into how Philly lost that game. You're giving up a 4th and 15 for the game. That stuff matters. And then you get to Monday night with Denver, who's essentially built their team around Von Miller and their pass rush, which is great. But in the fourth quarter, they couldn't get there. So what do you do? Who do I start at flex? Adrian Peterson, John Brown, Philip Lindsay. If it's PPR, I think John Brown's a great matchup. If it's standard, I think Philip Lindsay is good. Peterson's got a tough... Everybody's on the fence about Adrian Peterson this week. I find that very interesting. The Saints defense really is that good, and I think game script could lead that game to shake out much more in Chris Thompson's favor than it does for Peterson. But it's interesting. That's about the 5th Peterson question we've had in the last hour. I find that Fascinating. But definitely, why do I instantly forget the name that you just flipped to me? It wasn't Keelan Cole. That's what my brain mover wants to say. Yeah, PPR. Oh, John Brown. John Brown's going to have a great matchup. Amari Cooper lines up in the slot, and he just whacks the Browns. So I have no problem playing the Ravens leader in air yards and their slot receiver. Book that. I like the Ravens today. Is it Bills Mafia top 5 videos? It is not Bills Mafia top 5 videos. However, Bills Mafia Monday is very much in effect, and I'll be excited for it. They have a home game this week, so you know Bills Mafia is going to be popping off. Literally, everybody take a deep breath. If you're watching, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, just know that someone in the state of Buffalo at that moment is going through a table. Ready? Did you feel it in your back? Did you feel it? Did you feel that? You feel that little crack? The crack of a folding table? I felt it. Bills Mafia up. Bills up. Jimmy Graham or Jordan Reed, asks Mark. Jimmy Graham has to play today, right? He's got to have a get-right game. Jordan Reed, very consistent, but clock's ticking. Clock's ticking on old Jordan Reed there, I must say. So nervous about his situation. Again, I really want this to be a get-right game for Alex Smith coming out of the bye and Monday night. So essentially an eternity to prepare for an NFL opponent because you get a full week plus a day. So if the Redskins can't game plan for the Saints on Monday, they can't game plan for anybody. You have so much time. There's no excuse. That being said, Jimmy Graham, if you weren't going to do it, you're going to do it this week against the Lions. So, start them both. GFY. Nah, Jimmy Graham's got better touchdown upside, and I like Jimmy Graham. That he needs to get going. That's the problem. Has to be a get-right game for Jimmy Graham because of the lack of weapons in Green Bay. And I'm very worried about his target share going into this week as well. So now you get to look at depleted wide receivers core. Stacey Dales has been reporting Geronimo Allison, I'm told he's not expected to play. So rap sheet with the lockdown. Boom, fantasy app. I heard a stat that the Vikes offensive line was allowing a historically bad amount of pressure. The Vikings line is allowing a ton of pressure. The leader in hits is the Texans. The Texans are getting their quarterback hit far more than any other team in the league. It's absolutely not close right now. But the Vikings line has been so bad. So that makes today's game against Philly very interesting because both offensive lines have had major trouble, and both offensive lines are supposed to be one of the strengths of the team, right? And both defensive lines have been going through problems, right? No Everson Griffin is a massive, massive loss for the Vikings defense. And it's shown. It's shown through 2 weeks, right? So it's been a problem on both sides of the ball. That's why I think that game might be a sneaky, sneaky over bet. Huh? Oh, Vikings-Eagles over bet? Go back and forth, Vikings-Eagles. That game, that'll be like 10-7 in the third, and I'll be like, man, that over's dead, and then it'll cover by a field goal. It just feels like a game where points are going to be at a premium, and then it's going to absolutely erupt. But you're right. The Vikings line has been very poor, and we said it last week on the show, the Mike Lombardi mantra, bad lines don't travel. We have to take that into account when a team like Minnesota gets an NFC Championship rematch, especially after a hangover of getting completely waxed in front of the whole country. Can't feel great, boss. That's back-to-back weeks. They cannot feel great about their performance. So pass rush matters, We talked about Philly. We talked about Denver. Miami's the same way. Miami lose another pass rusher this week. This time it's Cam Wake. And you got to take on a Bengals line that's really improved. That's a big, big-time problem. So I'm on the Bengals today. I have no problem housing a Bengals over Dolphins bet. The Bengals look very good, regardless of Tyler Eifert and Gio Bernard being out. Sorry, Twitter, we got the shake on you. But it's the reason Miami is going to start 3-1 and could finish 7-9, 6-10. They just lost so many defensive linemen so fast. Their pass rush has been completely neutered. And the Giants never got going. That's the next team. Olivier Vernon hasn't played. The Giants are last in quarterback pressures. They never had a chance. The Seahawks are in the same place. We talk about Frank Clark. one of the best individual pass rushers in the league, really gives an edge to that Seahawks defense because he's their only playmaker with Earl Thomas out. He's their only defensive playmaker, and he has food poisoning heading into today's game against the Rams. So his stamina is going to be affected. I buy into that stuff. If you don't think food poisoning is a big deal, you probably never had food poisoning. It withdraws the moisture from your body, the fluids. Moisture is not the best word, but it does take your fluids away. For sure. And the Rams are getting pressure on 41% of opposing passing attempts. Marquise Goodwin will not play today. I don't think that one's a surprise. But the Rams, according to Pro Football Focus, the Rams are getting pressure on 40% of opposing pass attempts. That's fucking great, family show. That is phenomenal. Billy Bob, I'm late. Blame the fight. Billy Bob, you've been late, baby. You've been late, baby. I blame the fight for many things. That fight took many things away from me, okay? Mostly my sleep. I mean, I'm not going to act like I wouldn't be up doing degenerate shit anyway. We still bet on Wyoming against Hawaii last night. You blew the game, Wyoming. Unbelievable. But yeah, if you haven't checked out anything that happened in UFC 229 last night, hoo boy, you got to do that. If you're on Twitter right now, you got to download the Boom Fantasy app. Your free checkdown preview is ending, and you got 10 minutes to download the app, Twitter user. Hey, Adams18. This is in the Boom Fantasy app, and your free preview just ended early. We're going to do power rankings at 11:30. It's not NFL power rankings. It is something else, and you're going to want to watch it, so hope you enjoyed hanging with me, Twitter, and we will come back. We'll come back later. But thanks for hanging. Doop-ba-ba-boo-doop-ba. I want the viewer count to load on that. But that's why one of the Rams have been so successful. They haven't been so great on defense, but in the run game at least. But rushing the passer is always going to give you an edge. And they've been doing it as good as anybody. Billy Bob, let me know how you did gambling-wise on the fight. I'd love to know who you took, if you sweated Tony Ferguson with me, if you took anything else. And I'm out here. Let me know. I'm interested to hear how your bets did. Everybody, let me know how your bets did yesterday. Did you do the parlay yet? I didn't. Smith or Dalton? You're right, Pilodilo. I bailed on that. You're right. But the way I've been talking about Miami, I'm pretty confident in Andy Dalton. Just the way Miami has lost their pass rush, I'm pretty confident firing up Andy Dalton. Pick 3, Boyd, Funchess, John Brown, Enunwa, the Juices. That's a great question. I'm going to say leave Funchess on the bench. I understand he's a number 1 target over 3.5 rounds, baby. For what? What was that? Over 2.5 rounds? What was over 3.5 rounds? The Conor fight? I don't remember ever discussing that bet. So great job. All I cashed out on was, will they touch gloves? No. It cost a lot of money, but it was worth it. It cost a lot of money. Why doesn't the viewer count work? If you were playing a best bud and you really wanted to smoke him and put him in his fantasy reality, put him in his, would you sit Big Ben or Cam? Yes, it was a last minute entry. It's a solid entry, dude. It's a good ass entry. Damn, nice bet. Would I sit Big Ben or Cam? It's really tough, honestly. I think Cam's rushing upside can make him one of the best quarterbacks of the day. That being said, it's hard to pit. The Steelers team total is 30.5. So for me to sit here and say, leave that quarterback on your bench is mother bleeping criminal. So I'm going to tell you to put Ben Roethlisberger in the game because you're getting home Roethlisberger splits against a banged up defense in a must-have game. It's just if it's the moment for Roethlisberger, if he doesn't get this right, he doesn't have it anymore, in my opinion. This is a no excuses outing for Roethlisberger. So that's where I'm going. Literally, if it was on the road, I could be talked into Cam. But you're getting those home Roethlisberger splits where you know it's freakishly better than he is at home than he is on the road. That's just where you are. So you're home against a bad defense in a need it game. That's nice. That's a nice parlay you sent me, Shred. Really good. Really good, Leezy. Listen, you could change all you want. You're probably going to be right no matter what. You're going to have a good lineup no matter what if you have Roethlisberger or Cam as your starting quarterback. But I'm telling you, everything breaks out perfect for Roethlisberger this week. And if he doesn't get it, oh, you eat matzo ball soup when you have food poisoning? You savage. You know what I need when I have food poisoning? A steam hot shower and water and blankets. And I need multiple changes of clothes because I will get in my clothes, I will vomit, I will sweat through those clothes, and then I will put on new clothes. I need multiple changes of clothes. Frank Clark is out in Seattle eating that fish food. You think they have a higher rate of food poisoning in Seattle because it's just so much fish that there's like a higher danger rate, a culinary danger factor? I think that would make a lot of sense. Just because of it's just so tough to store and it lasts so not long. It's interesting. We got a deposit on the boombox. Pilo Delo's in on the boombox. We fucking love it. Get down on this action. If y'all don't know, y'all really never gonna get it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's the number one thing we're doing here. It's signed jerseys from pristine auctions. Shred time, Julio exact yards, 126. I believe in my video I had around that mark. I had around 112, 126. I will tell you this, Shred time, if you play a smaller jackpot, you will get a range. In the milli, you must get the exact total. But in the smaller jackpots, you will get a slight range, which gives you a nice window to work with. And what some players really are good at doing is getting a matrix. So they will play like 4 entries into the same jackpot and give themselves a window, like a range of options. As with the ranges, then you can really cover like 10 yards, which is really cool. But 126 is pretty solid. Did a heads up Bills Titans, my guy. Let's go. Heads up contest for every game. This is why I think Boom is so fun, because there's heads up contests for every game. And sometimes you're like, sometimes you flip through these contests, the single game contests, especially in a lopsided matchup, and you're like, I really don't see how I could lose this. And then you just get in heads up and take somebody else's money. I love that. We have heads up contests up to $1,000 on Boom. You could play anybody, anytime, any slate for any amount. It's badass. Sammy Watkins is officially active. Whoa. Didn't see Marvin Jones go through warm-ups with the receivers. Listed as questionable with an ankle injury. Inactives in 5 minutes. Inactives are at 11:30, and that's when I do power rankings every week. That's on purpose, right? I do that on purpose. Is there a way to create a heads up? I believe there is. I'm actually not positive on that. But I'm 90% sure there is, because people create $1,000 heads up contests, and then I go on Twitter and I say, hey, we have an opening in our $1,000 heads up contests, and I'd like a way so that we can send notifications to people who actively play in high stakes heads up contests. Say, hey, we got a high stakes heads up contest going. You might want to jump on in it. Let's do power rankings, and then in the middle of power rankings will be, of all things, hopefully Marvin Jones is inactive. Not hopefully Marvin Jones is inactive, but we'll get the news on it, right? So I have a good top 5 but I want to go in and out of it because I want to watch associated YouTube highlights, but I feel like that'll get me in trouble, and it's just a sticky moment. But the way that the NFL has evolved into a passing league, and it just makes me it just makes me think about all the quarterbacks that got left in the dust, right? All the quarterbacks that never made it. All the quarterbacks that we thought were going to be guys. NFL teams thought they were going to be guys. And they never quite got there. So this week we are doing top 5 QBs that never made it on the check down. On the check down. What happened with Griffin? What Griffin? Which Griffin? Peter Griffin? Geronimo Allison, inactive. What happened with Griffin? Which Griffin are we talking about? Number 5 is Colt Brennan. If Robert Griffin doesn't count as a QB that never made it, these guys really never made it, all right? Colt Brennan had troubles early in his college career, right? And then he ended up going to Hawaii and becoming an absolute stud, breaking all kinds of passing records. I'm trying to get Sports Reference up. Colt Brennan threw for 500 attempts each of his 3 seasons as Hawaii quarterback, put up touchdown totals of 35, 58, and 38. So it's really all about the 2006 season. Colt Brennan made it to the NFL off the 2006 season, in which he threw for 58 touchdowns and had a season-long passer rating of 186. 406 of 559, 72% of his passes for 58 touchdowns and only 12 picks. Devontae Adams is good to go. Jair Alexander not playing. Another hole in that line and that Packers secondary for Matthew Stafford to light up. That's one question in the Boom Early slate. Hey, so Colt Brennan, I really thought was going to have a future in the NFL. Spurrier had him with Washington in a spread kind of offense, and he just never had the same season. He never had that 06 Hawaii magic ever again. Number 4 was Joey Harrington, the cover man of NCAA football 2003. A raw winner at Oregon before Oregon was even a college football winner, right? 3 years, his best season, 2,967 yards, 22 touchdowns, 14 picks. And then his senior year, he had 27 touchdowns and 6 picks. He looked the part, but he never had the numbers to match. And we just said, oh, it's because he's in Oregon. And he didn't have the talent around him. And I think that was, for me, one of the first times I was like, oh, you have to like really, really dominate college if you want to be an NFL quarterback. Like, you got to really, really dominate college. And Joey Harrington was a really good college quarterback, won a lot of games, but never really evolved into a game winner, a dominator. And the Lions just spent too high a pick on him, and they tried to surround him with weapons the best they could, but it was literally never going to happen because he didn't have it. Number 3 is Chris Weinke. Chris Weinke, the oldest player ever to win a Heisman Trophy. 28 years old. Heisman winner. I can't imagine being the age I am now, playing Division I football and winning a Heisman Trophy. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I thought that at 28, he had the poise to go into the NFL. 28's fine for an NFL quarterback. He can still develop. He had the mechanics. But I never saw him. He was on that 1-15 Panthers team. He was just so bad and looked so unathletic. Like, if you look unathletic for Florida State, you're going to look like you do not belong in the NFL. And Chris Weinke really never had it. But 28-year-old Heisman winner is something that I will never, ever forget and should be cherished. As a 28-year-old, it's proof that you're still young. I could still win a Heisman, Mom. Number 2 is Brady Quinn. Now, Brady Quinn had it, man. Brady Quinn was for a top program, looked great in the pocket, made plays, won games. But another guy that did good, but never outright dominated. I think he had Michael Floyd as a wide receiver. 06 Notre Dame. I'm picking guys from one era, I guess, because his best year and Colt Brennan's best year were the same year. 37 touchdowns and 7 picks for Colt Brennan. But man, his receivers were good. Jeff Samardzija, and that's it as far as NFL talent. But Jeff Samardzija was a monster. Jeff Samardzija is a professional athlete. So we can't act like that wasn't impressive, okay? So Brady Quinn went to the Browns. He bounced around. He never got his shot, and I always thought that wasn't fair. But Brady Quinn had the label of the dude. Like, every draft scout was like, yeah, Brady Quinn's an NFL quarterback. And another guy that just didn't dominate the game at all. At all. And our number one quarterback that didn't make it, that never cut it, that couldn't cut it, couldn't get it done, is David Carr. And it's really not his fault. I'm still under the impression that David Carr is an NFL caliber quarterback. Because David Carr did what the guys underneath him right now didn't do. David Carr dominated in college. David Carr was a winner at Fresno State. David Carr put up big numbers. And he just happened to be behind the worst offensive line in NFL history. Marvin Jones is officially active. Devontae Parker inactive. So Marvin Jones has to be fired up. I'm looking for David Carr college stats out here. Yeah. Senior year, 4,839 yards, 9.1 yards per attempt, 46 totes, 9 picks, 165 passer rating. That's something that the 3 guys before him didn't do, and the 4th guy below did at Hawaii. What happened with David Carr is he became the most sacked quarterback in NFL history in back-to-back seasons. He broke his own record for most sacked quarterback. We talk about how bad the Texans line is now. It wasn't historically bad as the first ever year of their franchise. God, that was such a nightmare for them. I feel terrible. But I feel worse for David Carr, who never got a fair shake. And that is this week's Check Down Power Rankings, brought to you by the Boombox. How you get down for watching Boom Fantasy. I spent way too much money at Pristine Auctions. I have autographed jerseys that I'm not supposed to have because I was given a budget and I exploited those parameters. And now I can pass that exploitation on to you. Deposit into your Boom account and take a screenshot. Send it to me, rick@boomfantasy.com, so I know it's real and you deposited during a live stream, and I will hook you up. You're going to get entered to win Boom apparel. We got hoodies just like this. Don't you want to get fresh like this? Don't you want degenerates at the sports book asking you what Boom Fantasy is? Because that's what happens to me when I wear my sweatshirt there. We're going to give you Boom swag. I'm going to get you hooked up with Hall of Fame jerseys from Pristine Auction. They're on their way to my house. And I'm going to get you a random bobblehead. We're doing multiple of these. It's not one drawing. It's multiple. And you enter by depositing and sending me the screenshot. So get it done. Get it popping. Get hooked up with the Boombox. As we reach the halfway point, that's kind of a big thing, Marvin Jones's activity. I'm not so sure how to process that because that's a lower body injury. But it is a great matchup for the Lions. Like, the Lions should be going 3 wide. It's funny because the Rams have 3 very good receivers, and they are in 11 personnel, 3 wide, over 90% of snaps. The Lions have just as good 3 receiver set. Not as fast, but definitely equal level of talent, in my opinion. Overall, Golden Tate's a stud. So why aren't they running more 11 personnel? And against a weak box, pound Kerryon Johnson. It doesn't make sense to me. It just feels like misutilization. Like what the Giants are doing without throwing deep to Beckham. It's just taking the player that is good and not using him the right way so that he looks unproductive. And that's not fair to anyone. Fantasy owners, gamblers, fans. Players who are trying to fight for contracts. Put them in a position to be great. That's your job as a coach. And that's my issue with Jim Bob Cooter at this very moment. It's tough. We got to cover a lot in the second half of the show. We'll do this boom early slate a little bit more in depth. We got to look at our gambling angles. We got to reveal our 3-team parlay that we will lock up. I think I might go a little bit of a bigger one too. 3 just doesn't feel as sexual as 6 for some reason. I mean, 3's got those curves. 3's pretty thick, but I don't know. Yeah, I do agree that. Oh, dude, Samardzija was an absolute animal, dude. Samardzija was such a good athlete, and to be honest, made 900% the right decision by playing baseball. So paid, no damage. He can be regularly bad. He's a giant. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. Imagine if he was as bad as he was for the Giants instead of the Giants. You know? It just doesn't matter that he's like supremely mediocre 70% of the time on his big contract. Must be nice. Ugh. Texans team had nothing, man. Nothing. I don't understand what their plan was. I don't understand what they were trying to do. And so you're just getting someone hurt. You're doing your franchise a disservice. However, I do remember them beating the Cowboys. So I was very young, but the Texans' very first game against the Cowboys, I think, the primetime game, what do you think was the line on Texans money line? Because the Texans are a new team against the Cowboys in primetime, and the Texans fucking won that game, family show. Calvin Ridley or Davante Adams. I have a really hard time taking Calvin Ridley out of your lineup in season long, so I'm pretty sure you're playing season long. Did I hear David Carr talking Lane Kiffin the other day? I did not, but I'm afraid to look it up because of consequences. I like Davante Adams, but I feel like I have a hard time taking Ridley out in season-long fantasy. So you got to go with Ridley in that matchup where there's supposed to be 60 points. You just have a hard time. It's not necessarily, is this guy you have to take that ceiling. You have to take that upside. Even if Adams is healthy and has a great game, he's never going to have what Ridley did the past 2 weeks because he's getting a bad matchup against Slay. He's won the matchup against Slay, but Calvin Ridley is in a much better spot, especially in season long. It's different in DFS where you're paying a price, but I know Memster's playing season long. We got our gambling stuff. We do our parlay. We got hot and ready if you need any last second ads. But mostly we're chilling. I'm still honestly shook over UFC last night. It honestly has me befuddled. One of the craziest evenings in my sports viewing career. I've had crazy days. I was a child when Malice in the Palace happened. Like a legit, a baby. Not a baby. I watched it. I was just talking last night because we were stunned silence that I watched it live. But to watch that as an adult, understanding the conflict and then being able to react, I don't condone it, but what a spectacle, man. I wonder what the pay-per-view buys are. If anyone knows what the pay-per-view buys came out to be, let me know what the status is on that. Because that was probably insane. Dana White came out and announced the gate, but he didn't announce anything about the actual pay-per-view where Conor's going to make a ton of money. Conor's going to make a ton of money. And Khabib had his money withheld at the moment. I wonder what that's gonna be like. But that'll be interesting to see too. So you never know. But watching it with my jaw open, and then to be able to break down the repercussions, which could just be horrible. Like I like watching Khabib fight. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I don't like Khabib as a person after what he did. So I'm trying to process this, you know? But it is what it is. And personally, as a Conor McGregor guy, it was hard. Thomas Rawls is active for the Bengals. So Mixon, Walton, Rawls, all active. FYI for those riding the Mixon train. For me, Mixon was off the injury report, so he's a full go. IMO. I understand they want to take it easy on him, but at the same time, fire that boy up. Good matchup. Check. Just making sure. I got my headphones. We should have our buddy Rob popping on, and we'll hang out. We'll talk some ball. We'll talk odds. We'll get FanDuel up. We'll start looking at player props. We'll make our parlay, and we'll start getting this ish popping. I wish we could get up Derek Lewis's post-game fight, but I'm just nervous. You have to look up Derek Lewis from last night, man. Last night was absolutely ridiculous. It really was. It was a spectacle, unlike any fight I've ever seen. I'm telling you, Malice in the Palace type stuff. But we got to get back to football because, it's a good weekend, and we have good matchups. And what's more, we need to be profiting off of those matchups. And let me tell you, if you're 0-4 in fantasy season long, you got to call me. You got to reach me out to an email, rick@boomfantasy.com, because we want to make you the official team of the Boom Fantasy app. We want to build you back up from scratch. We want to hassle your coworkers for trades. We want to keep it popping. Everton. What about Everton? Everton score? Pilo Dilo cracking in with the Everton. I got Liverpool Man City popping. That's 15 minutes in. Oh, Chelsea with a 3-0 beatdown. We don't like it. We love it. Little soccer action to start the day off. And then we hit the casino hard on some FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's fire it up and let's check out our parlays for the day. See how we can make this day even more profitable. After we get our fantasy wins, after I direct you to jackpot wins on Boom Fantasy, it will soon be time to take this to the next level and become professional sportsbook operators, guys. Guys, we're going big. Guys, we're going casino. All right, you can see that pretty clearly. Hanging out. Let's put these on in case our guest joins. Lifestyle. Link up. Sorry, there's a lot of moving parts. What's going on, guys? If you're just popping in to check down, it's fantasy football action from here until 1 o'clock. Your boy Rick Rosen. Boom, Rick. Host of Good Morning Boom. Host of Good Morning Boom. Johnny Moe likes Stafford over Rodgers. I think that's the right bet. Pilo Dilo. So Ryan Leaf was my number one guy. I took him out because of drug problems. I just didn't feel like that was fair. I understand why he was a bust, and that might not have been all his doing, and they might have been, it might be a causation correlation thing where he was never going to cut it. I just felt bad. There's just enough scrubs that I didn't have to, I thought about putting Tebow in there. There's just enough scrubs that I didn't feel like it was necessary. Plus, then the Chargers had Drew Brees and they let him go. So there's really no excuse. Never forget, number one alternate timeline in football. Number one alternate timeline in football is the Dolphins passing Drew Brees' physical and letting the Nick Saban Dolphins sign Drew Brees. That's the number one what if in football. If Manziel was included in this writing, I would have rioted. Exactly. Not that he wasn't great. He's a lot of fun. All right. Let's get this going here. Panthers. 6.5 is a lot. Give me 6, right? Alternate lines. Alternate spread. Panthers -6. Not that I don't think they're going to stomp, but if I can spend 20 points on the juice to get that name, what if Rivers went to the Giants? Well, I think Rivers would still be playing and the Giants would be in great shape. I think that's not as big of a huge turn of a coin as Breeze didn't get the job and then Dante Culpepper became the Nick Saban quarterback. I know, Giants money line is a great pick. Thank you. The meme carries on. The cheese stands alone. Give me. Oh, we got a guest. What's going on? Giants money line, absolute lock is what Memester says in the chat. Bobby, you in here?
Yeah, what up?
Bobby Dubs coming on the line. Let's break it in. Bring it back to the house. Bring it on home for the children.
I wonder if I can use my earbuds with this.
What?
I wonder if I can use my AirPods with this.
100%. If you don't have a microphone, no. But if you do have a microphone, then yes.
So lit. It's done.
So lit. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So fucking lit.
Our new weekly segment where we chat with my friend Dubs about the NFL slate. We're talking about what if scenarios. What if the Chargers kept Breeze and shipped Rivers? Well, I don't know.
So dope. I read a whole article on that the other day on ESPN. It was really good.
Well, I say the greatest what if is if the Dolphins pass Drew Brees' physical and the Nick Saban Dolphins start with Drew Brees.
Right, the Saban defense with Drew Brees at the helm at quarterback is looking pretty good. But you know what though, I don't think the pro game was ever for Saban. You know what I mean? He's more of a dictator, and these professional players are not about that life. So he probably would have been out of there anyway.
I agree, but I also agree he it's hard. I think the college coaches have a problem with NFL players where the way they behave and the way they talk to their players, it just grates on millionaires. You just can't talk to multimillionaires like that.
No,
Nick
definitely
Saban
not.
is the most powerful, most wealthy guy in the room in an Alabama locker room. When he walked in the Dolphins locker room, he's yelling at Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas says, I'm a grown-ass man.
Right, you're a jag, dude. Like, I'm
a grown-ass man and a multimillionaire. Like, you're a child. Oh, Lil Za in the chat says, what's up? What up, Doe? We're talking about great what-ifs with my buddy Dubs. I'm cranking your volume up a little bit.
Appreciate it.
And a lot, actually. And so you agree that that's the greatest what-if? Because there's a lot of Chargers Rivers stuff going on. Rivers to the Giants. Do you think Rivers could win the same? Could Rivers beat the Patriots twice on that Giants team?
I'm a big Phillip Rivers guy, so yes, probably.
I just think that the presence of moment, the poise, Phillip Rivers losing his poise is underrated, and it's only because we don't see it in championship games. Like, if he freaked out on his team in the Super Bowl, we would think of him completely differently.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I feel like a lot of times the Chargers and their whole organization is just – it's so in flux, and it's always, like, crazy there. So the Giants are a team that has a lot more stability, and so I feel like Rivers might have a little bit better temperament toward his teammates and his coaches and stuff like that if he were part of an organization that had more stability.
I know the Barnwell still does work. R.I.P. Grantland. Did I say Barnwell? I said Barnwell.
Bill Barnwell.
What if Chargers kept Brees and shipped Rivers? So this goes back to another thing and it happened with Teddy Bridgewater, is if the training staff says he'll never be the same again, what if he's not? Like, imagine being a member of the Chargers training staff and watching Drew Brees hold a Super Bowl with the Saints, because you said to the Chargers owner, I don't think Drew's shoulder is ever going to get back to where it was.
Right. It's a fireable offense.
It's the same thing with Teddy Bridgewater's knee, though. where the Vikings were like, listen, he may get back to where he was, but he'll never get fully back. And then they see him with the Jets and like, oh God, he could still be a starting quarterback in this league. We just gave $100 million to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins kind of proved that over the course of time, meaning like 4 years, he's a 4,500 yard plus quarterback. So the guy throws touchdowns, he makes good plays. See, it's hard. Who's not a system quarterback?
Just tell me the big game Kirk Cousins has won, and I'll leave you alone. Just tell me the big game he's won.
Tell me the big game that Washington's ever been in.
Washington had playoff games against Seattle. They had Robert Griffin, though.
That's what I'm saying. What game has Kirk Cousins played in? What big opportunity has Kirk Cousins ever gotten?
It doesn't matter. His team. Oh, sure, I'll tell you what happened. The Redskins had a win or go home game against the Cowboys to make the playoffs, and they lost it.
Right. So he has. So what you're telling me?
Did have a chance to make the playoffs, and he fell flat on his face in a very.
So what you're telling me is he's had one opportunity as a young quarterback, and he didn't make it happen.
I'm sorry.
So
did you just come in here touting 4,000 yards? I didn't know that wasn't good enough to get you into the playoffs.
I understand that, but we're talking about one opportunity. We're talking about one opportunity in a big moment. So if you're going to judge him by one opportunity, then it's hard.
Important games. Shines when it doesn't matter.
It's very difficult to label him with that label right now, to slap him with that label right now when he hasn't had multiple opportunities to prove that he can get it done. He's got a much better team now. Look at these receivers that he has
earlier in the
now.
season, and Kean Fahey said that Kirk Cousins is incapable of throwing a sideline route to the opposite side, to the far side of the field. He said he's incapable.
So basically,
he says Kirk Cousins can throw to the sticks. And he can throw bombs. He has no intermediate ball.
So you're saying that if he's on the right hash. So basically you're telling me if he's on the right hash,
Barnwell wrote the article
out to the left hash. Wow. Okay.
Jeff saying Bill Barnwell, he wrote that good article that you were referencing.
Right. Loved it. I mean, it was really, really good. Like the what ifs, like if
talk about a what if. Grantland's the big what if. Hey, keep going.
Yeah, honestly, Grantland.
Keep you going. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I'm just saying, though, I'm not so sure the whole Dolphins thing would have worked out. The interesting thing, though, is what would have happened back in 2004 had the Saints decided to keep Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? Like during that draft, they don't make that deal with the Giants. It's not them. Supposedly, it would have been the Steelers moving up to take Phillip Rivers. That's what the article said. It was really, really
and that
cool
creates a greater trickle down.
Right. Because then the Steelers don't have Roethlisberger.
Yep.
They say Roethlisberger ends up on the Giants. Like there was a lot to it, and it all made sense. If
Roethlisberger
you really,
in the big city is problematic.
Oh yeah, bananas. A lot of girls for him to.
Roethlisberger in the big city is problematic.
Yeah, that's really OD.
That's really funny.
Yeah, no, that's really good stuff, though. I mean, does Drew Brees? Here's the real $1 million question. Does Drew Brees have any claim to greatest quarterback of all time?
Yeah, but he doesn't win enough. He doesn't have a claim, but he's got an argument.
So if he doesn't win enough, that's interesting. Doesn't win enough.
That's like it's gonna be like how Terry Bradshaw gets into the greatest QB argument on Super Bowls alone. Like Drew Brees is gonna get into the greatest quarterback argument on passing yards alone. And I'll be able to say, well, it was a passing league. And you'll be able to say, well, he never had the defense that so-and-so had. And we'll just go back and forth like that. It doesn't matter. But in a vacuum, one quarterback to win a game, it's Brady for me, right?
It's hard not to pick Brady because of the track record. But you also have to realize, though, that's a combo deal. You don't get Brady without Belichick. You don't get Belichick without Brady.
I also feel that you don't get Drew Brees without Sean Payton.
I mean,
to me, that's the top three. Before McVay, it was Belichick, Andy Reid, and Sean Payton. Now McVay kind of muddles the waters because he's absolutely disgusting. Doug Peterson is doing really good things, but for me, it's that. And Sean Payton is a big time offensive mind. What he's doing right now with Taysom Hill is ludicrous.
Dude, that is so lit. Bringing that dude in is lit. That guy returns kicks.
Taysom Hill is returning kicks. He is throwing passes. He is running the ball. He is catching passes, and he is tackling people.
That dude's out of control. Seriously. Where,
you
like
kidding
seriously,
me?
where do you get a football player like that?
So stupid.
Wild. The Houston Texans should have used J.J. Watt, something like that, early in his career. I mean, that guy could do everything too.
They should have given him the ball. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Hell yeah, should have given him the ball. That it's absolutely wild that a talent like that is not utilized more.
So
I mean,
wait,
they
I wanna
finally
say
caught a clue, put him on offense a little bit, right? They threw him a couple passes.
So you're
and
saying
whatnot.
this gets interesting though if we do the quarterback roulette, because we just did top 5 quarterbacks who dominated in quarterbacks that never made it. That was the power rankings, and we missed one. Not we missed one. There were so many we could have done, but one of them got drafted in this 04 class. I think is really interesting because we talk about the trickle down effect. Because if the Chargers keep Breeze, one of these teams that takes a quarterback doesn't take a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the Chargers. That means the Steelers move up to 1 and take Manning, is what you're saying.
No, what I was saying was that
the Steelers.
It's I forget what the
The
article said. I
Chargers are
can't
keeping
remember.
Breeze, right?
Yeah.
So the Steelers are moving up to get Manning.
Let me see if I can bring it up
because
real
they're
quick.
old money. They're old money Steelers.
Yeah.
The Giants are gonna get Rivers, the guy they actually wanted the whole time. And Roethlisberger's the wild card. Do you know who takes a quarterback next in this draft?
Who?
The
I can't
Bills
remember.
at 22.
Oh, wow. Who's that? J.P. Losman?
J.P. Losman.
Wow. Tulane.
Unbelievable. And that was a trade with Dallas, who at the time,
That was Drew Bledsoe. Didn't they have Drew Bledsoe at the time?
Yep. Drew Bledsoe was their starting quarter. Nope. That was Drew Henson and Tony Romo were the quarterbacks on the roster.
So they must have just got rid of Drew Bledsoe.
It was early.
At that point.
Yeah. Wikipedia doesn't make it easy to scan. But 03.
Wikipedia.
No, 03 was Quincy Carter.
Quincy Carter. I'll tell you. That guy had a
cocaine Quincy Carter.
It's crazy. That guy had some talent, man. He was a pretty
Quincy
talented
Carter won
player,
games
but
in the AFC and the NFC. Did Quincy Carter made moves. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, Quincy Carter was not so bad, but
so that creates a crazy what if where the Bills get Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, which would have been
ever.
Yeah, and then you want to know something? I don't think the Bills continuously missed the playoffs like they did had they had a quarterback like Roethlisberger, right?
They get there at some point with Sammy Watkins and Shady McCoy.
And I mean, they don't have to waste the first-round pick on EJ Manuel.
Yep. There it is. Exactly. The trickle down to nailing that pick is so massive.
And then you take a look at back in the day, they had remember Lee Evans?
Yes, I do remember Lee Evans. Lee Evans dropped a Ravens touchdown that would have sent them to the Super Bowl instead of the Patriots.
Yeah, everyone remembers Lee Evans for that, but
Lee Evans wakes up thinking about what could have been.
Dude, beginning of his career, he was a stud. He had a couple 1,000-yard seasons.
The article has the Steelers taking Rivers and the Bills grabbing Big Ben. Yeah, that's what. So I was late reading Jeff's comment, and Jeff absolutely nailed it. Thanks, Big Jeff.
Well done, Jeff.
So let's take a look at these lines, and you tell me what you think as we build our parlay for the show today.
I got four games in mind that I like today.
Okay, well, why are you letting me hold your hand? Talk to me.
No, go for it.
No. Hit me with the first game. I don't like running through every game. I think that's too vanilla and too basic.
Yeah, it is kind of corny. But...
So send me your best games.
All right, so I got 4 games in mind.
Yeah.
I'm bringing up the lines right now that I really like today.
You can just introduce one, and I'll talk about it while you're bringing it up.
All right, cool. So the I definitely love Carolina today over the Giants.
Easy.
6.5.
Massive matchup nightmare. I'm going to buy it down to 5.5 for this fake parlay we're making on the show. But Carolina has the edge in all possible facets against the Giants.
Went up to 7.
The Giants have to come out radically stylistic. Yeah, I did just see it jump to 7. Memester, I hate betting the Cowboys, but Cowboys +3 looks good. I'm not
David
taking
Irving
it. Cowboys
is back
down.
for the Cowboys. You know that?
Cowboys, what?
Did you hear me? David Irving is back for the Cowboys.
No, he didn't make the flight.
He didn't make the flight.
David Irving did not make the flight.
Wow. What a dummy.
I like David.
Sad.
No, he didn't miss the flight, you idiot. He's practiced once in the past year. He's just not active. He didn't miss the flight.
Oh.
Texans are bad, but they're getting better. I feel like so here's how that's going to work, Memester. I'm not going to put a bet in on that game, but because it's the Sunday night game, I'm sure I will. And that's
Because
just how
there's
it's going to
nothing
go. I'll probably take a total there. I'll probably take something like the under and tilt at it. Daily odds boost on FanDuel Insurance is Hopkins to score a touchdown. I just don't like that matchup. I don't know what to think about that game. I'm excited to learn from Cowboys Texans, but yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen. I love what I'm doing in the 1 o'clocks. I love what I'm doing at the 4 o'clocks. And at Sunday night, I'm either going to bet on the Dodgers or I'm going to bet on that under, probably. Deshaun Watson rushing touchdown prop. So
Okay.
the Panthers are a great pick. Unless the Giants come out and stylistically do something they haven't even remotely attempted through 4 games, and that's throwing downfield.
Right. Well, Beckham just complained about it, and the Pat Shermer came out and he refuted it and said it's not that big a deal, whatever. But I think it's a big deal. Eli Manning can no longer throw the ball down the field.
No, I think that he can. He doesn't want to. I think that he's enjoying his career high completion percentage. He's completing over 70% of his passes. You know that?
Well, yeah. Will that be the first time in his career?
Yeah.
I think so. But I don't think he doesn't want to throw the ball down the field because he doesn't want to hold on to it. He's getting pressured every single play, and
Fair.
Eric Flowers can't block anyone.
Flowers is out. So, Chad Wheeler's had 2 games. I think he's been pretty solid.
Well, let's hope he can get, for the Giants' sake, let's hope he gets a little bit more solid because, we don't want to see any more Eli faces when he's getting up off the turf.
This game comes down to 2 things. It comes down to the Giants' inability to slow down a mobile quarterback and their inability to generate a pass rush because the Panthers, believe it or not, have the number 1 run blocking efficiency in football heading into today. And I do think that with Snacks Harrison, the Giants have a decent interior rush defense. But, man, you cannot get into 3rd and 5 against this Panthers team. Cam Newton is going to run for 7 and smile in your face every single time.
Well, see, here's the thing. Who are even the Giants linebackers at this point? Because the Giants are going to need some linebackers because Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield is a serious
Thanks, Scott. I'll
threat.
let him know. He's an idiot.
Who's an idiot?
You're getting called an idiot for calling out Eric Flowers.
That's okay. Eric Flowers stinks, and everybody hates
Go on to the
Eric
next
Flowers.
game because you clearly discredited yourself from talking about the Giants.
I did?
Yeah, no one cares about what you say if you think Eric Flowers is a starter.
Okay.
You lose all legitimacy. It falls apart.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the next game?
Good call. All right. So, yeah, take the Giants if you think they're going to win.
Oh, my God.
All right. So,
idiot.
I like the Bengals over the Dolphins.
Layups.
Bengals -6. That's easy. Joe Mixon's back. He's going to run all over him.
Joe Mixon's back. The Dolphins are down Cam Wake. Remember when I said last week the Dolphins were going to get smacked because they didn't have a pass rush and you said I didn't know what I was talking about?
Well, I mean.
Now they're down to better pass rusher. And the other ones are not coming back.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem for the Dolphins. They clearly outkicked their coverage in the first 3 weeks. They're not that good. So
for me, it was when it comes to the Bengals, like I need to be able to see it. And when I try to smash a game, I try to be able to last week I thought Philly and Tennessee was a lock. The only way I thought it wasn't a lock is if Tennessee's O-line was good enough to hold. This game, I think, is very much a lock. The issue for me is Miami going to be able to pull explosive trick plays out of their hat like they did against Oakland when they ran 30 plays and scored 28 points? Because Cincinnati's gotten beaten in the air before.
Because in order to get big plays, you have to be able to run the ball. Yeah, there has to be some threat of running the ball, and Kenyon Drake is not running the ball efficiently.
Yeah, but Gase uses short passing as his running game. They got Albert Wilson, they got Amendola. They use 4-yard, 5-yard passes as their run game, and that's what.
Right, but it's still. But the point is, it's still a pass. It's not a threat turning around and handing the ball off. You know, like a pass is a pass, whether it's a short pass or a long pass. You know what I mean? They're still dropping back into coverage once they see pass. So when they're running the football. You have to when you run the football effectively, the safeties have to creep up, and the linebackers have to be on their toes, ready to attack. So when you're not running the ball effectively, that means the linebackers and the safeties are comfortable in coverage. So I'm not really sure that the Dolphins offense with Adam Gase, or they could have anybody back there. I'm not really sure that they're going to be effective unless they could turn around and hand the ball to Kenyon Drake and let him run.
Yeah, except that hasn't happened more than 7 times a game all season. So like I said, the Dolphins would have to pull out some Philly special, some Albert Wilson throwing the ball magic to try to beat the Bengals. I don't think
and we can both agree
it's not going to come from Ryan Tannehill throwing down the field. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we can both agree that it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Dolphins are getting smacked today.
Okay. What's another game?
Baltimore -3.5.
Boy, you really going out on a limb today.
What? I'm just picking the ones that I think are going to win.
Okay.
What do you want? You want me to pick games that I don't think, just to sort of like be controversial? I don't think so.
Say it with your chest.
I just did. Baltimore -3.5.
Okay.
I like that today. That's gonna be a win, in my opinion.
3.5.
That's what it says right here.
I like 3.5. I would prefer 3 or 2.5, or I would pay up for the money line. I think Baltimore could win that game, but they're due to have a really disappointing offensive game. They've been so good on offense, and Cleveland might be the best defense they've played so far.
Yeah, but I think you're thinking about the old Ravens. They got real weapons now.
I understand that, and they did just give up 45 to the Raiders. That's why I like. Hey, the Ravens are in the parlay, man. The Ravens are good.
Yeah, but I mean, you said they gave up 45 to the Raiders, but the Raiders have some legitimate weapons on offense.
Yeah, but they weren't. What I'm saying is the Raiders weren't doing that until the Browns came to town. It was an absolute offensive explosion.
I like I said, I like Baltimore -3.5. The other game that I like Denver. Like Denver at the Jets.
Denver at the Jets. Why do you like Denver at the Jets?
I just feel like the Jets are I don't like the Jets. I don't like Todd Bowles. I think he's an awful coach. I don't like what the Jets – I think the Jets' pieces are overrated. I think Robbie Anderson's overrated. I think the running back duo is not quite as good as what they're playing right now. And Sam Darnold's a rookie, and I think Von Miller's going to be all over him like white on rice.
That's interesting.
So I'm not a fan of the Jets. I don't think the Jets are any good, to be honest.
What do you think about this parlay? I got Carolina. I bought points down, okay? Carolina -5.5. Baltimore,
I have no idea about that game. I don't know anything about the Giants.
That's right. All right. Sorry. Baltimore money line, Bengals -4.5, Titans money line, and Rams -6.5. 100 to win 1,000.
There you go. I think you just won $1,000.
That feels real good, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, with Carolina, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tennessee at the Bills, and the Rams at the Seahawks, who blows that?
Tennessee, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
That game is fishy to me.
Yeah. It's funny because this guy, Josh Allen, has a lot of talent. And I feel like if he shows up to play, he can get it done.
He's got an insanely high sack rate in his first couple starts.
Yeah, but it's because he's young and he wants to make plays. He's trying to hold on to the ball too long. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if he does hold on to the ball and he does make those plays down the field, the Buffalo can end up being, a threat in this game, I should say. They could win this game, I think.
I got a tweet from 5 a.m. at the Notorious MMA, Conor McGregor. Good knock. Looking forward to the rematch.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Badass.
How lit was that fight last night? The whole card was just so lit.
I'm saying it was one of the craziest sporting events I've seen.
We were watching that last night.
Oh, Scott wants to know the official parlay for the day. The official parlay for the day.
3-team?
The official 3-team parlay for the day is Panthers, Ravens, Bengals.
Yes, sir.
If you can get all 3 money lines, I like all 3 money lines. It's a little bit extra for Cincy and the Panthers, but hey, we're just trying to cash, baby. We're trying to make money.
At the end of the day, that's
we're trying to make
about.
money. Yeah, and then I want to put a little smidge on Josh Rosen in the afternoon slate. What do you think?
J-Row?
Going off at plus 150 at San Fran.
Your cousin third removed?
My brother from the West Coast, from a different mother, biologically speaking.
Big facts.
Listen, he's opening their offense up, and that is going to give extra opportunities for playmakers, and it's going to give their defense a break. But can he save David Johnson's fantasy season?
Yeah, that's a big negative.
Rivers
That
would have
line
brought the
stinks.
Giants 3-4 ships, Mark says. I think
3
that's
to
wrong.
4 chips.
I think
Wow.
that's wrong. I'll at you. You're wrong. Do you know why you're wrong? Because the NFC was just too good during that time.
Really good. NFC was dope.
The NFC's been better than the AFC for a minute. The top teams are in the AFC, but the NFC's always a battle of B+ teams that can
Right.
get hot.
Super loaded. Most of the time.
Think about the early Atlanta teams with Tony Gonzalez that fell short. Those teams were studs. Roddy White.
Right.
That
Yes,
team
sir.
ran in the buzzsaw that was the Giants. The Cowboys Tony Romo teams always fell short. The Kurt Warner Cardinals teams are always out there. Aaron freaking Rodgers was out there. We had to win at Lambeau in the snow just to make the 07.
I mean, the Legion of Boom was around for a long
The
time.
Legion of Boom ran the conference for 4 years. Dude,
You know,
Scott
that's
said it.
tough.
Think about how easy the AFC East is for Brady. You're right. The
Dude
Pats
wins
got
every
6
year.
wins on a platter every year for 15 years, my guys.
Yeah, that's
And you're going to come in
that
through
shouldn't happen.
and say Rivers was going to go up to Seattle? I don't
I
want to
mean-
hear it. I don't want to hear it. Rivers would be
You know, and
screaming
people-
at his line.
You know, and you know, Eli made magic though. Like Eli Manning made magic happen
He made
in those
magic, yeah.
playoff games. I don't know if anybody else could have done that.
He had the defense that Rivers never had and Breeze never had. So I think that more than like, oh, let's not put Breeze or Rivers on the Giants. Let's put Osi Umenyiora and Justin Tuck on the Saints or Chargers. Because then I think you're actually cooking with gas.
Yeah, you get a pass rush on those on some of those
You get the
Saints teams.
ability to 4-man rush with pressure any
Right.
elite passer.
Yup.
That's totally
Drop
different.
7, yeah. If you can drop 7 and rush 4 and get to the quarterback.
Yeah, man.
That's what the Giants did with OC
That's
and
what the Giants
and
did.
Justin Tuck.
give
and,
give
Strahan.
the Chargers Michael Strahan.
Yeah.
The best part
I
about
mean-
2011 was Osi Umenyiora didn't play the whole year. So you got the NFL season when everybody's banged up, and this dude just comes off fresh and just starts mauling.
Out of control.
Dan Duggan, my man, the Athletic beat writer covering the Giants, just tweeted, "Feels like this Odell situation blows up today one way or the other." Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, that was a mistake that the Giants made by paying this guy.
I don't know what you're saying. You watched the Josina Anderson interview?
No.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. He gave an interview today and it was bad.
Oh no, I'm just saying the Giants. I was never sold on Odell Beckham.
The Giants
as
are wasting a generational talent using an offense from 1980.
Well, that's true too. I mean, but I just is that the kind of character you want in your locker room? You know,
See,
like I
that's the
understand
thing.
he's a
Odell
phenomenal
Beckham
player.
is not that kind of character. In my opinion, everybody on the Giants should be that mad. Dubs, I'm telling you, I have Game Pass. There are guys running open in clean pockets, and Eli's not throwing the ball. They have a generational running back, a generational wide receiver, and a quarterback who is unwilling to engage either. It is a waste, a waste, a waste.
I'll tell you what, though, I don't think there's any one person in the NFL not named Khalil Mack that could take Saquon Barkley down one-on-one. He's unbelievable.
And I
He
tell
really
you what,
is
Saquon would
unbelievable.
hit him with the shutter spin, and I don't think he'd grab him.
You know what? He might
Saquon
not.
would hit him with the
because
sauce.
There literally might not be anybody in the NFL that could tackle Saquon Barkley one-on-one.
I
He's
would
really
subscribe.
that good.
Like,
He's-
share,
he-
subscribe.
It's really unbelievable. You watch him; he will take a handoff. He'll run into the line, right? Because there's
Oh
no
my
hole.
God, Mark.
And he'll just spin. He'll spin off, or he'll do some shifty little move, and he'll gain 3 yards. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's a winner, and he's gonna also waste on that team for years to come.
That's so sad.
So sad.
It's kind of a blessing for Giants fans and the Giants
I don't want to hear
organization.
that.
Now listen, that they're not very good this year
I don't want
because
to hear that.
you're going to need a quarterback, and you passed on all the
Are
quarterbacks
we
this
getting
year,
Herbert?
and most of them look really good. I mean, we don't know what Lamar Jackson is yet, but the other four, they seem like they're competent to potentially really good NFL quarterbacks. Like watching Josh Allen play the game that Buffalo won and scored all those points, he looked like a really good quarterback. Like he looked like he had the potential to be a real threat.
He makes plays.
Throwing the ball down the field, but it's just like his audacity to like run down the field and jump over that guy. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Obviously, that's pretty stupid as a quarterback to do, but as a young guy who's trying to make a name and trying to make plays and show that he belongs, for him to have the balls to do that and complete it, that's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to talk about the Giants, so.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Matt Parlay, by the way, those 3 money lines, plus 190. Yo, what's up, Joel in the chat? What's going on? We're talking to my boy Dubs. We just picked our 3-team parlay for the day. It is Panthers, Ravens, Bengals, plus 190 all the way on the money line. Taysom Hill has 5 wives. I love that.
Whoa.
Odell Beckham. I don't know if Eli is the reason for the Giants' struggling offense. Man, you know.
So check it out. Why the hell would I even want to watch the Giants anyway? First of all, they're not fun to watch.
Because they have exciting people, and because you have money on them. Like, why would you watch Ravens Browns? Because you have money on it.
Well, yeah, that's true. But see, Ravens Browns. Well, I would watch Ravens Browns for Baker
against that Ravens D. It's gonna be a big. Yeah. It's gonna be a big test.
It's gonna be awesome to watch because Baker looks like a stud right now. He's got out of all the quarterbacks, they were not kidding. His accuracy is on point. That guy throws people open.
So many positions. That's unbelievable.
Who, Taysom Hill?
Yeah, Taysom Hill. Mark said Taysom Hill has 5 wives, and Joel's in the chat saying, no wonder he plays so many positions.
That's kind of like my man. That's kind of like my man Derek Lewis last night talked about to throw his wife's legs
Derek
up in the air when he
gets
home.
Derek Lewis is an absolute all-American hero. He crushed post-game interview, and then he went on Fox Sports and said he was going to put his wife's legs in the air and see what happens. He's an absolute all-American hero. Justin Herbert guy, the Oregon quarterback. How do you feel about him?
To be honest, I hate college football.
I know. You don't watch any college football. He's the Oregon guy that people say could be the best quarterback in the class. He is 6'6". I didn't know that.
All I know is there's one guy that's coming out into this draft that everybody wants. That should be the number 1 pick. He's an absolute animal. He's Aaron Donald 2.0, and his name is Ed Oliver from Houston.
Ed Oliver is an animal. Oliver is
anybody who gets that guy,
animal.
Anybody who gets that guy is getting.
Lewis was amazing, Joel. Lewis was incredible.
Yeah, dude, Derek Lewis. I can't stop talking about that guy. He was so funny.
Justin Herbert is a junior, so he's draft eligible. He's 6'6", 225, the starter for Oregon. Played football, baseball, basketball in high school.
Stud.
He's 20.
Get at me.
I'm going to put some pics in real quick. I'll be right back. Hell yeah. Make sure you get on that boombox. Yo, Dubs, you heard about this boombox thing we're doing?
Nah, tell me all about it.
God damn. You're going to make me get on my wave again. The boombox is how you get down for rocking Boom Fantasy, the check down Sunday morning. Your favorite fantasy analyst, 3-hour show. You want to get rewarded for watching that show? All you got to do is do what you would normally do. Deposit into your Boom Fantasy account. This time you take a screenshot. You send it to me, rick@boomfantasy.com. I hook you up with Boom apparel. I hook you up with Boom swag. I hook you up with an autographed jersey from Pristine Auction. Now, no spoilers, Dubs. Did you see what I got from Pristine Auctions?
I did. I was there when you were buying them.
Now, was I stressed because I spent too much of the company's money?
You were in a pickle. You weren't quite sure what was going to happen.
Now, now that I know that it's all hooked up and we can hook the people up with it, are you impressed at the volume and the quality of the things we got?
I won't lie. It's some dope swag.
Absolutely dope. And all you have to do is do what you would normally do, deposit in your Boom Fantasy account, but this time you do it while watching our live streams. It is
like check it out. If you're one of those dudes or even chicks who are into like memorabilia and collecting like cool shit, just like signed stuff by like people who you looked up to when you were young, like players that you really, really like Rick has that stuff now. So get on that Boom app.
I have this stuff and I'm literally giving it away. It's not an auction.
No,
It is
no,
not
you don't
a
have to buy
raffle that
it.
you
You
have
can
to
have
enter.
it. You
It's
can legitimately
given
have it.
away. You are on Boom Fantasy, so you play Boom Fantasy. It's something you're already doing, and I'm giving this to you. It could not be any easier. Dubs,
Yo,
I got
so
this player. He's 5 first-team All-Pros, Offensive Player of the Year, and in the last 20 years, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Is that someone's jersey that you'd like to represent?
yeah, of course.
Do you know who that is?
No, who is it?
I'm not going to tell you.
All right, give me the hints again. What are the hints again?
He's 5 first-team All-Pros, Offensive
Uh-huh.
Player, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in the last 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a real player.
It's pretty vague, but
Yeah.
it sounds like a Hall of Famer potentially.
Yeah, it was I just said he's a Hall of Famer in the last 20
Yeah.
years. He's like a recent Hall of Famer, not like a old-time Hall of Famer.
Right, like not like one of those guys who had like 1,000 yards one time. And like,
Absolutely.
he was so good back
Pilo
in
Dilo, if you're in the
1930.
chat, you go up on the emoji board, by the way. Same with Shred.
All right, so you were talking about Justin Herbert, right?
Yeah, that's the Giants' future. If the Giants are gonna really go 2-14, it's not Barry Sanders.
I
It's
just
not
did
Barry
a, I
Sanders.
just did
Great
a
guess,
quick.
Jeff. I couldn't get Barry
just did-
Sanders. I really wanted to.
Yeah,
But
dude,
it's a good comp. They're right up there in terms of best running back. They're both in the conversation of best running back ever. Oh,
could
I
it be
gave away
Eric
too much.
Dickerson?
I'm pretending you didn't say that. So is that it? Are you good for today? You got anything else you want to share?
Well, I just Googled. I did a quick Google search because that's what people do when they don't know shit.
Yep.
And
That's you.
I looked up. Yeah, that is me. And I just looked up the potential quarterbacks, the top-rated quarterbacks in college, because I don't care about college football because they should pay those kids.
Yes.
But Will Grier from West Virginia is apparently the way too early college football #1 ranked quarterback.
System
But
QB.
see, here's the thing: they have Tua from Alabama ranked #2.
Tua's actually the real deal.
Really?
Are you kidding me? Oh, you don't watch college football. Why am I even trying to do this with you? Yes, Tua is absolutely the real deal. It's not. It's awesome.
But the whole point of me doing this is to see where Justin Herbert was ranked, and they have him ranked 8th.
Okay.
Behind a kid from Washington, kid from Missouri,
Who's the kid from Washington?
Jake Browning.
I hate Jake Browning. Jake Browning's been in college for 6 years.
Now, he told me he hates you too.
He peeled Locker off his jersey and he put Browning on and got back in the game. Give me the Lombardi trophy for my emoji. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Pilo Dilo.
Hey, I heard of this kid. How about Khalil Tate? I heard of him.
Khalil Tate?
From Arizona. Yeah, I heard of him. Is he any good?
No, I've never heard of this player in my life.
Really? They got him ranked 4th.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, college football sucks. Who cares about college football? That's garbage. Hey,
it's
Earl
the area
Thomas,
between
apparently...
Khalil Mack's humph and his humph.
Yeah.
His Khalil Tate. Is that the area between Khalil Mack's area?
Dude, that was actually really funny.
Is that his Khalil Tate?
You're usually very not funny, but that was actually very funny.
You're really good with words.
So anyway, Earl Thomas came out and said that the gesture was not at Pete Carroll. Like when he flipped off the sidelines, he said it's not at Pete Carroll.
Okay, but who was the gesture at?
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you even believe him? I don't believe him.
Well, I think it was to the sidelines for sure.
Because, like, that's a big deal to me. The
Pete
fact
Carroll's
that Earl
not a
Thomas got
contract
hurt.
signer, though.
It's not the fact that he flipped off the sideline. I could care less about that. I thought that was hilarious. It's the fact that Earl Thomas came back without a contract and got hurt. Like it's gonna play
terrible.
huge ramifications. It's gonna have huge ramifications on the way that players take care of themselves with their contracts moving forward. I'm surprised Le'Veon Bell is coming back. I really am. They made it some sort of.
He's gonna miss out on a full salary, man.
Yeah, but was that announcement real? That Week 7 announcement, was that a real thing?
What do you mean? Is that announcement real?
Is that a real thing? Is he really coming back? Because apparently the Steelers, Mike Tomlin said he hadn't heard anything directly from Bell. Is that true?
Here's the thing, Dubs. We only know from the one reporter he's Le'Veon Bell's talking to. That's what's garbage about that.
So, like, we don't know even for sure if that's going to happen. So, if the whole point I'm trying to make is that if I'm Le'Veon Bell, I don't come back. I come back Week 11 and then I fake an injury and I don't play.
You come
because
back. Well, I do think he's going to come back. Yo, I need some advice on who to plug in for my RB2. Already playing Gordon. I have Eckler, Thompson, Collins, and Dion Lewis, half PPR. What do you like here? Let's do a celebrity shot, Bobby Dubs. I'll tell you why you're wrong.
All right, give me my options again.
It's a running back 2. He's already got Melvin
that.
Gordon, and his options are Eckler, Thompson, Collins, and Dion Lewis.
All right, so for me, it would be between Thompson and Collins.
The Lombardi.
For me, it would be between Thompson and Collins. Collins is getting in the end zone, which is something that's huge for fans.
You're on Collins today?
Not necessarily on Collins. You gave me a choice.
No Dion Lewis against Buffalo?
No. I just told you that I'm not sure that Tennessee is going to be able to.
But if that game is close, if that game is close, it bodes well for Dion Lewis more than Henry. And then the 0.5 PPR. Collins isn't going to get you the PPR. I just want to make sure you're clear on the rules.
Of course I'm clear. What do you think? All right, never mind.
Yes. Whatever the end of that question was, the answer is yes. I do.
So you think I'm a fantasy genius? So I appreciate
Sure.
that.
That's what you were saying. You were about to say that for sure.
So anyway, you know what? Go with Thompson, Chris Thompson.
I do. Well, it's crazy because we've been getting an insane amount of Adrian Peterson questions today, and I did say that I think this is much more of a Chris Thompson game than an Adrian Peterson
I don't think that Adrian Peterson and Chris Thompson, I don't think that their production is correlated at all, to be real honest. I mean, I understand that only one back can be on the field at a time. Well, that's not necessarily true either. One back can get the ball at a time. But they use them in two completely different manners. Peterson gets the handoffs and Thompson gets the touches. If you're in a PPR league, I think Chris Thompson is a quality play because they love to throw him the football. And that scores points.
Yeah, I do think Chris Thompson is the best play.
So
Tomlin's
I'm not
trying to play
wrong.
it down,
How
trying
about
to act
that?
like he doesn't care.
How you like that?
Tomlin
like
is
me
definitely
now?
trying to play it down because Tomlin's a big next man up guy, maybe the biggest next man up guy in the history of next man up guys. Joel wants to let you know that he's stuck between Lewis and Thompson, honestly. So that makes me feel better that your Collins pick is wrong. For half point PPR, I think Collins there's a world where Collins catches 8 passes easy. So I like him.
You mean Thompson?
What did I say?
You said Collins because you don't know what
Sure.
you're talking about.
No idea what I'm talking about. Good point.
So the shit, I just had something I was gonna say and I forgot it. What were you just talking about?
We're doing it's this question. It's between Lewis and Thompson.
Right, but you said something right after that. We're about to move on, and then
I'm drawing the Lombardi Trophy, my guy.
that's kind of cool on the emoji board.
Yeah.
The emoji board was dope. That was
I don't have like a
good idea.
silver, so I don't know if I should color it in.
No. Just do the outline.
Let me color in the bottom. Not the whole bottom, just the base. This looks bad.
Word. So
dude, last season we were coloring.
I remember exactly what I was going to say now. Mike Tomlin is a completely overrated coach. He's not a good coach. Mike Tomlin, in my opinion, is not.
Do you think Mike Tomlin's seat could get a little hot this week?
I think Mike Tomlin's seat should have been hot, and if he wasn't the coach of the Steelers, if he wasn't with that particular organization,
people, there is a section of people who don't get the Tomlin stuff.
Not a Mike Tomlin guy. I think that he lets his players just run rampant, do whatever they want to do. He doesn't instill any type of discipline. And in order to achieve the type of things that the Steelers are trying to achieve in that league, you have to have some sort of discipline. And they just don't have it.
I do think this is an A-B get-right game. I had a lot of questions about – yeah, Dubs is on here. I had a lot of questions about Shred Time. Yazzie had a Cam or Roethlisberger question today. What do you think about that?
Wow. I don't think you can really go wrong with either guy. Both guys are producing at a high level.
I wish the Dolphins had Tomlin. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. But between Roethlisberger and Cam,
Tomlin inherited one of the most talented teams in this generation.
Huge facts.
So when we talk about this, the Dolphins getting Tomlin, we're talking about Tomlin taking over a team that had an offense and a defense and a generational quarterback, and then proceeded to draft star wide receivers at an absolutely unprecedented rate.
insane clip. I
And
mean,
then
you were talking
use
about
a second round pick on what happened to be the best running back in football. The Steelers just mashed the draft for a couple years.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. I mean, the Shazier pick was a great pick before he got hurt.
Yep, 100%.
You know, they got Cam Hayward on the defensive line, another great pick.
Animal.
Totally. I mean, they really hit it. And then in free agency, they picked up Joe Hayden off the scrap heap when Cleveland got rid of him. Another quality player on the outside. Pittsburgh is a very talented team, and they should go a lot further than what they do on a yearly basis. When you take a look at the rosters, if you take New England's roster and you take Pittsburgh's roster, you put them side by side. Eight out of 10 experts are going to take the Pittsburgh rosters from.
There's that quote that was like, when the Eagles queued up the Vikings film for the NFC Championship, they're like, oh, they have really good players. And when the Eagles queued up the film to prepare for the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they're like, oh, they have really good coaches.
Yes.
Like
100%.
They completely are always in the right position situationally and are always in the position to make a play.
That's because they know if they're not going to play. And that all comes
expendable
honestly,
for sure.
Rick, that's the whole point I'm trying to make with Mike Tomlin. You go out in the field, you get unnecessary roughness penalties, you get stupid penalties, and you do stupid things. He's going to continue to play you.
Yeah,
but Bill Belichick is going to take you out. He's going to sit you on your ass just like he did to Malcolm Butler. He's going to tell you, adios, amigo, I don't need you. And that's the difference. That is the difference. A guy like, you know who I think is just like Mike Tomlin? Todd Bowles. And that's why I think Todd Bowles is a shit coach.
Yep, I agree. Todd Bowles also on the hot seat today. Joel and Pilodil are saying Gase is getting rid of players. Well, first it was Connor's not playing up to the hype at all besides week 1. That's only because he got 30-plus carries. Overrated. I think that's also a function of where the Steelers' offense has lived and how their defense has been bad. Gase just getting rid of players. Ajayi got traded for nothing. And what did they get for Landry besides cap space? I do think that Gase is trying to do like a my guys kind of thing, and he just doesn't have the guys.
No, he doesn't. And I don't even know how the hell, after watching them play New England last week, I don't know how the hell they started 3-0. I really don't. They had me fooled.
Yeah.
They had me fooled. You know,
that's
not
fair.
going to lie. But in terms of by the way, Yazzie, go with Cam Newton, I think.
Oh, that's long gone. That's long gone. We told him to take Roethlisberger. For me, it was the Falcons defense. The Steelers desperately need this game, and Ben Roethlisberger home splits.
You just told him to take Roethlisberger, but when you sent me your DFS lineups this morning, Cam Newton was in both of them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't play DFS. I send you my recommendations, but
that's what I'm saying.
Send you the lineup that I think you should play, but don't call it my lineup. It's not my lineup. It's your.
Well, technically,
I send you picks because you don't do any research. I send you a lineup because I do all the research, and you won't like money, and you know. We're friends, but I don't do that.
Right. No, I'm not saying that you actually are playing.
But yes,
DFS.
I think Cam's going to have a good day. Yes, I think Cam's going to have a good day rushing. Yes. But I think Roethlisberger is the guy, and Roethlisberger's more expensive, dude. It's daily fantasy. You know the deal.
Yeah, you do have to get those bargains. So who are the top bargains for today? Are you doing that, or is that not a thing?
Yeah, I took Marquez Scantling if I had to make a bargain. Oh, let's do hot and ready then. Let's do hot and ready. You'll tell me how you feel about my guys. And then I'll kick you out of here because I only have 20-something minutes left. What are you doing for the games? You going to Hoboken?
No, that's not happening today.
What are you doing for the games?
You know what? I'm free.
Wow, you going to red zone it with the kid?
It may happen.
Wow.
We could sit there and argue like we do all the time, regardless.
Wow.
Whether we're on the air or off the air.
This is my hot and readies for today. Oh, I could do players I'm high on too. Hot and ready. I have players that are all sub 5% owned except Alfred Blue. Alfred Blue is 6% owned.
Blue. Had to do it.
Josh Rosen is 3% owned. Valdez Scantling is 2% owned. And Ravens tight end Max Williams is 0.2% owned. And that's why he's hot and ready. Is he good? I didn't say that.
We
I
don't know.
He's hot and he's ready. And that's hot and ready.
Seems like you're ready.
What is that?
R. Kelly.
Why do you want to stay on my show? I thought you wanted to hang out, and then you're doing that.
My bad. Sometimes
Mark says Odell's the best wide receiver I've ever seen play, not named Randy Moss. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's cool. He never saw Jerry Rice play, so take a hike.
Wow.
You don't have a clue.
Flexing on old man stuff. Flexing on old man
Seriously, don't have
stuff.
a clue. Everyone who's ever watched Jerry Rice play football says in a consensus that he's the best football player to ever suit up. So Odell Beckham can go take a hike and go kiss a field goal net or whatever he wants to do.
8
Weirdo.
combo bets. Football. So Sugar House does a combo bet parlay for a rolling jackpot. You gotta. It's like win 100,000 times your bet. So I can bet $1 to win $100,000. I can bet up to $2 to win $200,000, or I can bet 10 cents to win $10,000. Ready?
Wow.
So I
Good
got to
money.
pick 8 games.
8 games. Let's go.
Oh, I can pick less for less winnings. Oh, this is great.
Okay.
Football. Oh, these are actually garbage. I don't understand what it does with these. It like throws random stuff here. It's like random stuff that I don't get to choose from. This is Julio score a touchdown and this team wins. Jaron Brown to score a touchdown. That's horrible. It's like random props that all have to hit. That's like the craziest thing. That's how you throw money away. Wow.
Yeah,
I saw the big jackpot and I like got rock hard and I have no idea what to do. Max Williams over Hooper, I wouldn't do that.
No, not over Austin Hooper, no.
Joel, oh my God, Dubs, you actually made Joel's son start crying with your singing. That is unbelievable. Maybe your son knows it's an R. Kelly song, Joel, but either way, that is absolutely hysterical. That's getting
cool.
Screenshot and getting sent to you on the absolute regular. That is fantastic.
Shout out to Joel's son. Big thank you for listening. You're a good kid.
All right, get off the show. Hit me up if you want to chill later. And thanks for coming in and muddying up the works, thinking that Eric Flowers is still on the Giants line.
Why the hell would I want to chill with you?
Peace. That's Robbie Dubs giving you the wrong news. Every week we give him a spot. He's bored. He's got nothing better to do. Adam Thielen is another guy in your lineup, and that brings me to my next segment. Let's do players we're high on this week. High on some players. As I'm looking at my Sugar House, some bets. Oh, man. As we head into the final 20 minutes. Whoops, wrong way. Pretty high on George Kittle this week. Pretty high on Kenny Golladay again. Another great matchup for Kenny Golladay. All he does is pull it out and hit value. I'm going to tell you, it's a great Marshawn Lynch day. I'm getting real high on Marshawn Lynch. One of the kings of standard running backs right now. Had a 60-yard run called back last week. Austin Eckler, aces flex play. Pretty high on Austin Eckler. Oh. What do we got next? Aaron Jones. I'm very high on Aaron Jones this week. I think Aaron Jones would be really good. Don't even worry about David Johnson. If you're taking David Johnson out of your lineup, you don't want to win fantasy football games. You have to start your studs. David Johnson is a stud. The offense is keeping him back. Sorry, I tend to rant when I get high on players. Tyler Boyd's going to absolutely fuck today. Family show. Oh, man, really good. Every Ram. I'm high on every Ram. We just keep taking our Rams against bad defenses. And the Seahawks are no longer a good defense. And if the Rams are going to score, Doug Baldwin's going to score. That's a correlation play, all right? Adam Thielen, I said it earlier. That's what I thought made me think of this. Adam Thielen is a smash play. Smash play. Oh, look at that. It's the Boom Box. I had no idea. Oh my gosh, this is how you get set up for depositing in your Boom account during live streams. You got to rock the gear. That's this. You get one of these, baby. I'm going to get you an autographed jersey from Pristine Auctions. It is the best thing going in daily fantasy, the #1 deal for the #1 pregame live stream. Make sure we get these contests in. We got Boom contests closing in 17 minutes. And even if you don't get into Boom contests in 17 minutes, late slate, every game late slate, night slate, we are on fire this year. Tons of action. It's the best year Boom's ever had. We're going to hit new heights in 2018 and beyond, and I hope you're down with us. And why not rep the hoodie at the same time? It's your boy Rick Rosen losing his mind on a Sunday morning. We got 17 minutes. I really have to pee. I'm going to fire up the theme song, and I'll be back in 60 seconds. Oh, we turn it down. It's Bobby Dubs Quiet AS. Pilo Dilo, baby. Oh, it's Wingstop time for me, so let's go. Ooh, I'll be right back. Bobby Dubs is finally gone. Soak up the silence. We love it. Trophy emoji is up. It is looking bold and beautiful. Pilo Dilo's on to get some wings. I need to figure out wings. I was wingless for the majority of week 5. Ended up getting them for the Sunday night game. I got Daytona, hot and barbecue mixed. It's my new favorite wing flavor. And I also got a cheesesteak because I was just full Husky tilt play on Sunday. I was winning in a bunch of leagues, just feeling really good about myself. Closest Wingstop to me is 40 minutes away. Do you still call them up? Because I'm probably going to call a pizza place for wings, and I'm not the most confident in it, but it's either that or maybe I go to ShopRite, but ShopRite's going to be so busy. I don't want to get it. 40 miles. So 40 miles is about 40 minutes though, right? Or is that longer? Probably longer, right? It's about an hour, I guess. I don't know how miles work. Definitely got to get wings in my life. Definitely got to call something up happening on a Sunday. The good news is the late slates are starting to get better. That's something that I made a point of mentioning earlier in the season. We talk about how the 425s weren't any good and the NFL needed to do better. This week we have 1, 2, 3, 4 games at 425, but they're all interesting. Raiders, Chargers, Cardinals, Niners, Vikings, Eagles, and Rams, Seahawks. So we have something to hang with. Everyone should have Wingstop nearby. Well, that just seems like bad for Wingstop business. That just sounds like oversaturation of the market. So what do you know? Huh? That's right. So when we get down to it, there's a lot today, and we've had a lot of really good questions. I think some of the most pivotal players on the day are going to be that entire Packers receiving core, as we might have a low-key shootout between the Packers and Lions. I think the whole betting public and maybe the sharp are going to all be on the Bengals, so I'd really like for that to go down. I'm very interested to see Atlanta-Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh really, really needs that game. Now they are 12 minutes away from playing it, and I couldn't be more excited. The bad thing is the only pizza place that delivers is Papa John's. Domino's delivers to my neighbors, but not to me. I think they might be discriminating. Oh, well, then you just got to give them your neighbor's address and then just open the door when they get there. You're like, oh, sorry, gave you the wrong number. But you can't let geographical convenience slow you down. Did I tell you guys about the Chinese restaurant in my town? I live in the next town over from the best Chinese restaurant in the area. I called them to deliver. Yeah, Wingstop is bomb. I called the local Chinese restaurant to deliver, and they said, oh, you're in the next town over, so we're going to have to ask the manager. I said, listen, before you ask the manager, just know I put it into Google Maps, and I am 7 minutes and 3 miles from your location. 3 miles, 7 minutes. So I hope you'll deliver to me. She goes, she talks to the manager, she comes back, she says, hi, I talked to the manager and he said it's $50 minimum delivery. I want to talk about discrimination. That's raw geographical discrimination. No logic fits into that argument. It's good ass sesame chicken, but oh my God. I don't think I've ever $50 for the 24-hour stream, I ordered more Chinese food for myself than I've ever ordered in my life. No, I mean, it's so much. Dude, if $50 is the minimum, I'm just going to drive there. 7 minutes and 3 miles. Like, it was such a ridiculous deal. But that is the best. That's the best deal. If I need to get it, if I need it delivered, you're right. I should order it all and then freeze half of it. That's genius. No one wants me to pull up to the desk rocking a full lo mein. That's going to stink up. Joel lives in the boonies. Nah, man, that makes it tough for Wingstop, makes it tough for Chinese. I need options always. Pizza place, I need options. Oh, you got the Papa John's man, that's rough. Papa John's is not great, but I like the peppers that they put with the pizza. But I don't really like the pizza, so maybe I should just buy peppercini and eat them. 10 minutes left on the show. What haven't we covered is what I want to know. 10 minutes of the show, that's what I want to know. I spent too much time talking about UFC today, but I don't care. You should spend more time talking about UFC today. We did hot and ready. We did all this. We did everything. We checked the boxes with 10 minutes to go. Lemon pepper or Cajun wings? Oh, at Wingstop? I don't know. I've never had Wingstop, but I hear lemon pepper is the way to go. I interviewed Todd Gurley during Super Bowl week last year. He said that his favorite flavor is lemon pepper and mild mixed. And if they tell you they can't do it, they're lazy. That's the Todd Gurley special. Lemon pepper and mild mixed. So now you know. If you want to play like Todd Gurley, that's how you consume chicken. I interviewed him on, we talk about DraftKings Showdown. And I was like, what are you going to eat? What are you going to eat for the food? And he's like, I'm in the Gatorade suite. I'm going to eat whatever they give me. Like, whatever they love. Mango Hobbs is good. Lewis is king ding a king around here. Dude, Derek Lewis. Memester, please tell me you saw Derek Lewis last night. Crazy fights, crazy post-fight interview, crazy post-fight fights, crazy post-fight fight interviews. It was one of the most insane nights of athletics that I've ever seen. By the way, I put $100 on will McGregor and Khabib touch gloves? No. One of my all-time best gambling locks. There was never a chance they were going to touch gloves. Only Sugar House was offering that prop because that prop was a lock. But yeah, Derek Lewis definitely came back, would have lost that fight if he had just not punched for 20 seconds. And instead he wins the fight and is now like a number one contender, even though he knows he's not a number one contender. I got to get my cardio up. I'll keep my eye out for that Joe Rogan podcast. So that's going to be a damn good Joe Rogan podcast. Talk about swanging and banging. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis. He just took shots and just kept. He's like, I just need one, man. I really just need one. And you say, oh, yeah. He got it, though. Volkov's neck. Imagine if I got my face stuck like that live on the check down. I'd probably clip it. I'd probably clip that for YouTube. Bengals, Dolphins. Sorry. I'm looking up. I'm making more wagers, guys. I can't stop making wagers. You know me. Last 10 minutes, more wagers. Volkov looked like Ivan Drago. Dude, Volkov looked like a bad man. And he was landing shots. And then it's like, he like forgot to respect the haymaker. It didn't make any sense. I had no idea what was happening. He just let his guard down with 20. Let him get too close. If you're Volkov, you have to wake up so pissed this morning. So pissed. Like, man, you really blew that fight, my guy. Like, really blew that fight. I'm just putting more bets in, just making sure I don't have anything to play with because I'm terrible at gambling. Just firing it off. No, I need to save some in the bank for later because Rams. Because Rams Cardinals is my afternoon picks, and Chargers Raiders over also looks really strong. I hardly ever talk about the 4:00 games on here, but that's because like I need to settle and think about them. And the 1:00s are such an overwhelming tsunami of content that you just got to prepare and hold on for dear life. Hope you don't get cast ashore. Yeah, Volkov was crazy, and I don't understand how heavyweights do it. But Derek Lewis is a hard sell. As a pay-per-view main event, Derek Lewis is a really hard sell. As a podcast guest, not a hard sell. Not a hard sell as an interviewer. But as a fighter, that was not entertaining for 90% of it, for sure. There were moments, there were brief spikes, but until the end, there was nothing doing. And then it was all over. What a great night of fights ruined by criminal actions. I got Skins winning by 7+. Whoa! That is the hottest take of the day so far from Joel. We got to wait for Monday night. Hey, listen, I got to pay my bookie on Sundays. So technically Monday is next week. Sunday's the last day for your bookie, man. You got to clear out with your bookie at the end of the day on Sunday. So Sunday is chase day. Monday, we play conservative because it's a new week. We got a whole week to piss money away on Monday, right? But Sunday, we got to really go for the gusto with our picks. And that's why we need the Bengals. And that's why we need the Ravens. And that's why we need the Rams. We're shipping on a Sunday. I hope I didn't wake your kid up, Joel. Sorry. Bobby Dubs singing R. Kelly and waking up a child is going to be the number one. Oh, Drake's face when Khabib jumped the fence was amazing. Oh my God. And then at the kid Miro, one of my favorite Twitter followers, Miro from Desus and Miro, took that image and was like, when you're, is like Boston fans at the bar after the game still watching like highlights. Like, so bad. Boston fans watching post-game highlights an hour after the game still at the bar. Absolutely rich. There was never a less shocked moment for me than Drake getting Instagram shots with McGregor before the fight. Was there ever a less surprising moment? Like, I want to talk about the ultimate frontrunner. I love me some Drake, but he knew what he was doing. And honestly, if you want to get with Conor because Conor's going to have the much, much better post-fight party. Like, Conor's post-fight party blows Khabib's post-fight party away. Regardless of what Khabib is into, I don't care. Conor's post-fight party, regardless of outcome, is probably sensational. That's just how I feel. And Drake obviously wants to get in on that. So does LeBron. Is that the first yawn at 12:57? Let's go. We hit 4 a.m. strong. And we woke up to make sure you got the number one fantasy analyst analysis, number one gambling picks, number one content, season long, daily fantasy, free agent advice, starters, injury reports, parlays. Ain't no better place than the check down, my guys. You know what it is and what it isn't. And you know what it Khalil is and what it Khalil tain't. That guy's a real player, huh? Ed Oliver. If you heard Ed Oliver for the first time on my show today, you're welcome. That's a name and a half, baby. Are you excited? We are 3 minutes away from week 5. This is the time when I stare at the clock and want to start my music because it messes with my heart that we're so, like, it's hard for me to sit down for 1 o'clock football. Guys, if you're leaving, thank you so much for hanging out and loving with me on another 3-hour show. We got boombox deposits today. We put Pilo Dilo up on the emoji board. This shit is growing. We're going to fill this motherfucker by December. Don't you know it? It's a trip, man. Every week getting to hang with you guys for 3 hours is a blessing. I don't even need guests. I could do it on my own, but I do it because I want you guys to be max entertained, not because I want to make your kids cry. That was unintentional. But please, great day. Be safe. Be good to each other. Win some money on Boom. Are we going to crown another jackpot winner? Our 4th jackpot winner in 7 days? I wish the Millie had at least a +1, -1. Oh, dude, Joel, I begged for it. Joel, I begged for it. I begged for it, but it's $1 million, so they're not going to do that. It's literally $1 million. The good news is if you get 7 out of 8, you get paid, and if you get 6 out of 8, you still 5x your original bet. Have a good one. Have a good one, Meme Star. Have a good one, Joel. Thank you all for chilling. Pilo Dilo for chilling. Mark for chilling. Dubs for chilling. Man, I love this show. I love doing this with y'all every Sunday. Truly blessed. I want to see a giant check winner. We are going to interview Bihas, 14K, 18K, progressive jackpot winner. Check out the interview going up soon. Check down, number one internet show. I might nap, honestly. I am UFC, but I love you guys. So brutal. Get some wings in you, that'll wake you up. That's what I need. I need to call